January 24th, 2010. VGN Radio presents Midwest Wasteland with your host, Kevin Baird.
Ryan Baird, who's dying.
Don Anderson.
Don Cease.
And Larry Mack.
Tonight's topic, camping and animals. All right, so...
That just sounds wrong.
Don Anderson is currently driving in his car, so if we hear a loud scream and a crunch noise, and he gets disconnected, we'll know.
See, where am I at right now? I just passed Oasis.
Look at that fire in the back.
My spot.
You started going.
No, we'll just hear him like, oh, shit, hold
Yeah.
Officer, do you know who I am? I'm recording Midwest Wasteland, so...
You ever hear a tumble of a tumbleweed? What was
Yeah.
that?
I'm tumbleweed.
What do you got in the car?
I was thinking about that. I'm like, what if I get pulled over? And I'll be like, guys, I'm getting pulled over. I'll just put the phone next to me on the seat so you can hear everything. And then the cops like, sir, step out of the car. So I grab the phone. I'm walking around with my phone in my hand. What are you doing with that phone? Oh, I'm doing a live podcast right now, sir.
Yeah, I'm tumbleweed. Oh.
Yeah, don't you know who I am? I'm very famous on Facebook with only about 100 people, though. But them 100 people like me. They say they do.
For those listening live to the show, there is a chat room currently filled with about 12 people. It is at blogtalkradio.com/VGN. So if you want to join the chat, or the other hosts want to join the chat, go to blogtalkradio.com/VGN, and you can talk to, well, at least me. Anderson's not going to be able to log in because he's in his car,
For an hour.
Whether Brian, Larry, and Don Cease actually want to show up, that's up to them.
I'm in here.
Oh, yeah.
Why does everything you say sounds like a dying hippopotamus?
Okay, you know what? Fine. Fuck you guys. I'm done talking this week. Have a good show.
Oh, my God. Actually, we went to Larry's acoustic guitar benefit show yesterday, and it was okay. It was a good time, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, you didn't think it was okay, you guys, when you were pounding on Sydney's brownies.
Well, the food, I liked the brownies, but, the band was so freaking loud that we couldn't talk, so we just had to sit there and sort of go through, 2 hours of acoustic guitar, which was, I don't know.
They were good.
Yeah, they were
breaks.
Loud.
It was an intermission.
Yeah.
So fucking loud, my hair was blowing the other way.
Right. I was sitting right next to Cease, and I had to scream at him and stuff. And also, none of Larry's friends actually really know each other that well. So everyone sits at separate tables and stares at each other from across the room, which is always really
Like in Underworld or whatever.
Yeah, it's always kind of a weird thing. No one feels safe around any of Larry's other friends because everybody knows Larry, and they know that it's probably not wise to.
He doesn't care
get
who
too
likes
close.
him, as long as somebody likes him. So I'll just be like, I got a benefit. Okay, as soon as they lock me out, man, we're making a breakout tonight. I'll be there. Guy in an orange jumpsuit. So they have band? No.
Ping.
But, so Larry, do you get to take all those brownies home, or do you just let them unleash the rest of the leftovers on the bar crowd? I mean, what happens with those?
Well, actually, there weren't that many brownies left by the time we left.
Oh.
But yeah, last time we just the girls that worked there actually finished them off, I believe.
Yeah.
I think you need to clean up the bar and be like, here, the rest is yours.
The second shift barmaid certainly got better looking.
Yeah.
It wasn't a beer either.
Bunch of average looking bartenders, and then one extremely hot bartender girl walking around.
She's totally should not be there.
Right, should not have that job. She should be doing something
she should be on the cover of fucking Maxim.
Right. Yeah, just what?
You didn't like the first shift blonde?
No, I'm not saying the other girls weren't attractive. They were, but
that one was just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it was
no way.
literally something unusual that just came out. You're like, what the,
I mean, I haven't seen a stripper that good looking in a long time.
Right, exactly. You're just like, whoa, where am I at?
I'm like, did I stop in L.A. somewhere?
It's the kind of thing
little girl?
It's the kind of thing you just give up immediately. You're just like, well,
I'm not working here anymore. If you can have old men stare at me,
that's never going to happen for
really
me.
Gross.
So, all right, let's get to it. Tonight's topic is about camping and animals. We're going to start with camping first. And,
fine.
let's see. Huh? We'll start with Brian. Brian, since you're on the internet, you're going to start doing your surveys. I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you remember the very first time you went camping?
I've been kind of scratching my brain here. I think it's when I was in Cub Scouts, but you said you didn't want to do that until we get to the next segment.
Yeah, don't do that because that was more organized. How about family camping? Remember going camping with Dad?
We went to the 3J's resort. That wasn't really camping. It was like we got a cottage out by a lake where you go fishing and.
Close enough.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool because it was just Dad and me and my brother. I didn't know this at the time, but that's because my parents were intending on splitting up. And just kind of like, well, I'll take you to this cottage up here. And then, I don't know, maybe Dad was supposed to take care of me out in the woods and,
Chop you into pieces.
Yeah.
Get you guys used to hiding from your mother.
Boys, this is the shovel. You should get to know what the shovel's like. The rest of your life. Yeah.
I want you to your own grave now.
Cool. It was like when we got there, it was like, we were there for like a whole week in the summer, and like the first week it just rained. So, I'm not the first week. The first couple days it just rained. But, I mean, as soon as it got nice out, it's like typical Michigan. Once it's nice, it's like dazzling, So, we're like, well, let's go on the boat. Let's go fishing, which sounds cool, But when you're like a hyper little kid, it's not really cool. And, especially because it's me and my brother and my dad, And it's like, you're not catching fish with two young boys. You're like, nothing like there's humans. But we did catch some fish. And I got to watch my dad gut it, and I tried not to vomit, because I'm like, ugh. But he cooked it, and it was like just the greatest shit in the world ever. And yeah, so that was a pretty good time. That's what I think I kind of started digging, like going out and being away from women to a certain extent, camping. So that's all I remember.
I remember that place, and I remember that there was some kid there that I made friends with, and, like, on the first day, and then, like, he became the most annoying, clingy kid ever after that, like, always, like, knocking on my window at, like, 5 in the morning and stuff. Kevin, come out and play! Kevin! And you're just like, oh, my God, Dad, please just make
Was he floating outside the window with, like, a pair of, like, silvery wings? Because you did have an imaginary friend when you were a kid, man.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, boy, here we go.
She'll be dying to tell that fucking story.
Well, if you had a brother like you, I'd have one too. So.
I didn't need him. Exactly. I had Brian. What would I need an imaginary friend for? I just blame everything on you. What would I need somebody else to blame on? It's ridiculous.
He broke it.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Brian's fault.
Nothing like having my daughter come walking over and fart next to me. It's like, oh, God, fuck.
All right, Anderson.
Yo.
Do you remember the earliest time you went camping?
I remember the first time I went camping. I don't remember how old I was. I think I was like 5 or 6, something like that. I went with the next brother up, Ian, my brother Ian, the first black belt, and my dad's friend took us, or the guy my dad worked with. He took us.
When we built campfires, my brother Ian would just chop down the trees with his hands. Hi-ya!
Tiger claw.
His head. He would just scream at him and they would fall right into the fire, all cut up. No bark.
Dude, he's not Chuck Norris.
But three of us
roundhouse kicking trees into the fire.
I like what Kevin said about Chuck Norris. He goes, "You have $5."
As they're trying to escape.
Chuck Norris has $5. Chuck Norris has more money than you.
Yeah, that's great.
That's fucking hysterical, man.
What is?
Your story. It was great. We were laughing.
Yeah.
Dick. All right. Okay, fair enough. I was going to say, it's the only time I went camping. So if you cut me off, that's it. I got nothing else. So
everybody's so pissed.
We went to Clay Park. I don't know where that's at, but it's in Ohio somewhere. And I really don't remember too much, which makes me really suspicious of my dad's friend, work buddy, or whatever that took us.
You've repressed it.
Honestly,
Suddenly in the middle of the show, we're going to hear Don just start weeping. I remember it now.
He said, grab onto the zip line. I thought he was talking about the one over the water. Hey, don't ruin my jokes. Don't talk over my jokes. Talk stories. Don't talk over my jokes.
So how old were you, Anderson, when you went the one and only time camping?
Yes. That's the only time that I've ever gone somewhere else where we had a tent set up. I could have said pitched a tent, but I didn't. Where we had a tent and we set it up and we slept in that and we cooked on a little, gas grill, portable gas grill, and Honestly, I mean, Clay's Park has like a lot of water stuff. They got like that big water area, and they got like I don't know what I can't remember. I don't know what they have now, but they have like a zip line. They got like it's like a little beach, and there's a little island in the middle, and I don't swim either, so I didn't get really into it. I really didn't have a good time. That's probably why I don't remember it, because I just didn't like it, and it probably left a bad taste in my mouth.
So, let me just ask you something. Given all the concerts and things that you've gone to, have you ever camped out for tickets?
If you call sleeping on the sidewalk in the flats camping out, yes.
Okay, good. that counts, dude. All right,
that counts as I mean, it's not like I brought anything with me. I was just sitting there, and I was like, I guess I'll just stay here all night, and I slept.
Sure, why not? What other show are we going to talk about? We're not going to have a show where we talk about sleeping outside for tickets. So this is going to be the one and only opportunity to talk about.
I don't know. That might be considered camping.
When we were, how about this one? When we were kids, me and my brother used to go out for tent. We used to set up a tent in the woods at my house every so often. But that's not really. I mean, that was just, come on, kid, we're going to go put a tent in the woods.
Camping.
Oh,
right, kid, come on in the woods with us.
Yeah. Sleep and don't touch the tent, so the water will come in.
Touch this instead.
What is that all about, anyways? How come every time you touch the inside of a tent, the water comes in?
Because your oil in your skin kind of eats through the fabric.
It's like,
yeah, there you go.
Messed up, man. That is
You're the alien.
And plus, yeah. Plus, you've been an alien.
I'm sure it has something to do with surface resistance and crap that we're not going to talk about on this damn show. So look,
oh my god!
I just made that shit up.
You had
by
to
the
bring
way.
some kind of fucking
viscosity.
There wasn't much to talk about.
Exactly. All right, that's cool, dude. You got enough. Larry?
Okay, good.
First time?
Well, the first time I was actually camping was Boy Scouts, but I know that doesn't count. So my aunt did have a cabin out by some lake out in the middle of no place. Although I don't really consider a cabin camping because it's not. But I have no idea where it was at. Nothing ever really fun happened there. It was always like a family thing with me and my dad and my sister. So my actual first camping experience doesn't count. So there you go.
Wow.
My real first one will come up once we get to scouting.
I'm always waiting for the one episode of Midwest Wasteland where I come to Larry and Larry immediately goes, "Oh my God, do I have a story for you guys?" Yeah. Listen to this, and we're all we're just like riveted and stuff. Oh my God, Larry, what did you do? I don't want to
tell anybody about my life because
I've led the most boring life out of any of us here. What do you want from me?
Shit.
I'm your token boring friend.
We'll have to do a fucking just a concert one just for Larry. You can talk about it.
No, he'll find some way to make it like depressing and like
yeah. Completely Larry today. Yeah. Oh, man, what am I going to fucking do with all this money?
I don't really go and listen to the concerts, Kevin. I just sit in the audience.
Stand there and
usually I'm the promoter, so it's this big hassle with money and watching the door, and I got bands bitching about the fucking sound.
Come by, show me their breasts, but they're small, and then.
All right, Cease.
Oh Christ.
I'm always waiting for that one show where we come to Cease, and he says, "Man, have I got a story for you."
I got a story for you. Man, I'm dying. We used to have this pop-up trailer shit, so we went out to like Florida and some other places and shit. Oh no, the ones that you put on it's the trailer that fucking spreads out the back and the side and all that shit, all redneck and looking, And we used to go to like Claremont Lakes, and that's where I almost drowned. I was like 5. They have these like steel fucking slides that go into the water. You got to climb up, and half the time you're sliding down, banging your kneecaps on this fucking thing, and trying not to die. And you get into there, and it's just a fucking slide that goes off into the water. So your cheeks like get ripped off as you're going down the other side because it's dried off by the time you got back up there. It's like you finally hit the water. So I was out there, and one time my brother and sister had this fucking like blow up rowboat type thing. It was just a fucking blow up boat, and they had these pillows that went with it, and they blew up too. So I was grabbing this thing, and I couldn't swim by then. I was fucking floating around, just swimming around. And I tried to get out by my sister and my brother, and they're like, They're like 6-7 feet deep out there, and I'm swimming around, and the fucking lifeguard's like, everybody out of the water, you know. So this kid's like, hey, come on, you gotta come in. And he pulls this fucking thing out from underneath me, and underneath the water I go, I'm like fucking, I hit the bottom, like push my way back up, and like, and I get like a gasp of air, and
I saw
like,
this
go
movie.
back
Did you find a
down.
mermaid?
Yeah,
Sorry, just kidding.
I wish. Be fucking on this show. Anyways, and a couple of times later, my sister finally dove in, like, picked me out of the water, and they were all like, oh my God, you almost died. I'm like, really? Thanks for saving me. Thank you. But there was that time, and then at that time, we had this freakish fucking snowstorm. So we all woke up, like, the next day, and there was, like, a foot of snow out there, and we were trying to cook eggs and shit. It was like, crazy. My dad, like, slept in front of the heater, so we all froze to death. Being the nice old man he was. So, yeah, that was my first one. There you go.
Okay. Well, Brian pretty much nailed it for me, too, and I was younger than him, so if he remembered 3 J's, that was pretty much it. I remember we got lost.
Show, I'd like to have Kevin have his own story. No.
Yeah. I know we got lost.
Keep Steve in mind.
And,
remember what Brian said? Yeah. So anyway, our next topic.
You know, we were in Detroit. You know, it wasn't like our old man did much. And the fact that he was like one day like, let's go camping or something, we were just like, what? What happened? It's funny because our dad bought us baseball bats, aluminum baseball bats, one year for like Easter or something weird.
For protection.
And,
and
he's like, I don't want you guys breaking stones with them or anything like that because...
Yeah, what else are you going to do?
And you know, I remember, I kind of looked at this aluminum baseball bat and I was thinking to myself, what the hell am I going to do with this? Because I'm not, you know, and
maybe
of course...
maybe you saw the Warriors, you know. And
right, like, yeah. Brian and I immediately turned them into, like, bazookas when we play war.
Oh, yeah, flamethrowers when we're hunting aliens.
Right. That's what the baseball
we would smack them against each other to pretend we were gladiators until our mom would come in and, like, take them from us and beat the shit out of us.
This is how you use a bat.
Okay, our mom isn't Schwarzenegger, dude. What the fuck? That's how you use a bat. You boys are being bad. Get to the chopper.
Well, it says guys are saying there's no sound coming from the blog talk radio, and I'm not sure if we're still connected or not. It says I am on the thing. It says live now, and I'm still on, but they're saying there's no volume, so I don't know if I should disconnect and reconnect.
Well, welcome to VGN, everybody.
Thanks and good night.
Let me wind up the generator so we can get it.
No, dude, that's the air raid side. I'll fuck.
Yeah.
Let's try to.
It's just in 2114 New Orleans.
Okay, I'm going to pause the show.
Take me back.
Okay. So, Brian, you want to tell us anything about what it was like to be in a Cub Scout camping situation?
Yeah, the first time I ever went camping, I think I may have briefly touched on this before. I think we were talking about being sick, where I ate too many s'mores, drank too much fucking hot cocoa, and just vomited everywhere.
Hot choco.
But to people that don't, if they were to remember that episode, or you know what happens, they wouldn't remember for very long. What they would most definitely remember is my dad snoring. Because anyone who knew my dad knew that he snored like a fucking chainsaw. So we went camping. It was all the little boys in Cub Scout uniforms, and there were cabins, and it was in, I don't even know what fucking part of Michigan. It was just, you know, there's camping there. And so they put us in like these fucking death camp barracks, you know, completely uncomfortable. God knows I probably fucking had the bed that some kid peed in. You know, and I would like to say I was with all my friends, but I didn't have any, so that just didn't occur. I was just, you know, this is my parents' attempt to fucking get me out of geekdom and possibly join the rest of the human race, which was an epic fail. So I got to go walking around with all of them and enjoy the ice-cold fucking weather in Michigan, which even sometimes in spring and summer, that's what you get. And then we got to ride on a horse, and I was a small child, and getting on a horse fucking sucked because, you know, horses to me are fucking dinosaurs, you know? Fucking four-legged fucking giant creatures with a big fucking mouthful of big goddamn square white fuck-off teeth. If they bit you, your head would come right off. So mine started going like in the wrong direction. I'm like going, because I had no idea what I'm fucking to do with a horse, right? Big pussy. So
Brian just disappears into the wilderness of Michigan.
Yeah, it comes
screaming from horseback.
It just fucking happens to fucking find a cliff and like bucks me up. Like, where's my son? He's gone. He was eaten by the horse. It's like a scene from Jaws. They pick the horse up by its feet, cut his stomach open, looking for shit. They pull out a license plate. I'm not there. So yeah, so we got to do that, and like a bunch of people went and toilet papered the fucking outhouse, and the guy who was in charge was like all pissed off, and he said something like, "This place looks like a fucking bomb went off in here, and the toilet paper just exploded all over the place." I'm like, He goes, "That's not funny." Everyone's staring at me. I'm like, "Oh, it was sort of funny." My dad's like, my dad was just like, "Don't worry about it, man." It's all
do it
right.
again tomorrow.
He's a drunk or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, and then like you try to sleep, and all the fucking counselors were up late drinking and playing cards, so they were all surly in the morning. But you couldn't sleep because my dad was like, you couldn't. People were like shaking their head, going, "Bob, you're killing us, man. Get off your car or something." Because he was, So yeah, that was my second camping experience, which I only discovered was no longer quite as fucking fun as just going off with my old man. And because when we went camping, it was just a cabin, my dad in his own room, and you really couldn't hear him. But we had to like spend ample amounts of time with the old man. Then yeah.
Okay, Anderson, did you have any? Were you in any kind of? I know it's a waste of time to ask, but were you ever in Boy Scouts or 4-H or anything like that?
No.
He was in
Rainbow. You in Rainbow?
Ninja.
I went to the
League.
local park for rec center type stuff during the summer, but that was it. I wasn't camping or nothing.
Did you ever go to camp? Any
Go to
camp?
karate camp.
Did you go to Mohican?
I went to Mohican. Everybody went to Mohican.
I did.
Almost everybody.
Fuck.
Everybody who was cool.
Yeah, I know. I get the
Exactly.
hammer kids
Everybody else
who didn't
lives
suck.
were such.
For people who are listening to the show, basically what happens is in 6th grade in elementary
They
schools,
take you somewhere and there's pod people.
they tell you that you go out and you sell these candy bars to everybody that you know in order to help pay for your way to go to Mohican.
Like they couldn't afford it. Goddamn taxes are so crazy.
And Mohican was this. It's basically a long freaking ass drive out to a large woodsy park type of thing, and there's like a river.
I'm about to pass it.
And and there's
You're about to go win it. What? That's my
there's these
truck.
cabins, and
Honestly, I'm about to pass the exit for Mohican.
that's great.
That's
dude.
so exciting.
We could you
Wow.
can Google
I'm going
it.
to go there. I'm going to do a live show from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go there and have your own comedy act.
You
I
can
guarantee you.
you can Google it if you're really bored. Just go to maps.google.com and put in Mohican State Park,
Ramos
Ohio,
Wasteland is on location.
and you can see it if that is your thing. And
And
anyway,
tumbling with tumbleweed.
the park had different cabins, and everybody would be assigned a cabin, and you would share it with about 20 kids, half of which you didn't know. And you were there basically without your parents for how long was it? About a week?
It was a week. Yeah.
You leave on Monday and you come back on Friday.
Right. And so you would go and you would learn how to like use a compass in the woods, or how to build a stool out of wood. All kinds of dumb.
Which berries not to eat.
Yeah, right. We tested water to see if it was safe to drink. It depends on really what you kind of like get hooked into. I wouldn't even say sign up for, because
Try to feel up the girl.
I didn't get to
woods.
sign up for anything. It just like some kids got to go sledding and go fishing, and I got to like hike
water.
out. Yeah, right. Hike out into the woods in the freezing cold.
And you were the guy from the group that they picked to test it. Hey, Kevin, is this safe to drink?
No, they got those little pH papers that you
No,
normally
it's not.
you pee on and stuff. Instead, they put them in the water. And
We had a
Yeah.
when,
What did
when
I?
we went,
What?
we went to Mohican. We had a guy. There was a counselor there, Mr. Douglas, and he took a night class up into the woods. It was I don't know what they were doing. It was whatever. It was dark out, and he took them up on the hill up in the woods, and it was my rec time. So I was in that rec room where you could buy like the arrowhead necklaces and
right.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
stupid pinochle or whatever games they had. And they'd make you cook and stuff, too. They'd be like, you're on lunch duty, and they'd make you cook. You're just like, what am I doing here? Why am I, I'm 11 years old or whatever. But anyway, this dude, Mr. Douglas, took a class up into the woods, and we're sitting in the rec center, and all of a sudden the door comes busted open, and all these kids come flying in screaming. Some are crying. We're all like, what is going on here, right? And they come in and they're like, we're like, where's your counselor at? And they were like, we don't know. He took us up into the woods, and I guess he was mad at them because they were just being surly because they were sixth graders. And he was like,
screw you guys, I'm going home.
He's like, our own way back, and he booked. And he just left him up on the woods.
Awesome.
Yeah, fuck
Nice.
Yeah, he got fired.
you. I was going to say, that was almost acceptable back in the day.
That is not acceptable at all. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What? All right. What shit duty did you have?
Counselor in my. He was the counselor in my cabin, and like, you know, he's like, all right, everybody to bed. And everybody's laying in bed, and he comes walking onto our side of the cabin. I'm like, hello.
Without
and then he walked back.
pants.
And then he walked back to the other side, and he came back, and I was like, hello again, like the Cars, because the Cars had that song, because you know, and he was like, get up, and he's like, get in the bathroom, and he had me standing in the corner of the bathroom, and then
Pants.
and then he comes.
You felt
a couple minutes later,
them panties, boy.
You felt a hard pressure against your ass. And
right? He comes back a couple minutes later, and he's like,
So
hey,
this is where the short
here.
story starts, huh?
He's like, while you're in here, why don't you see if you can fix that shower head? It's leaking a little bit. It's like, what the fuck is going on around here?
Here's a toothbrush. Start cleaning.
That was the part where he asked you to do physical labor, and you were like, "Wait, no, I'm Don Anderson. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, I'm a union guy here. I'm going to be a union guy. Do you have a shovel I can lean on?
His nose starts bleeding out of reflex. It's like, I can't.
Dude, I had the worst fucking shit. I had to get all the firewood before everybody got up, and I had to clean the fucking bathrooms in the goddamn main hall. I was so fucking pissed. I'm like, what the fuck? Do I look like the fucking slave boy here?
Yeah.
It's so bitch.
I
had that look on my face that guy likes to work. Oh no, yeah, you do.
Yeah, like Anderson was describing, they had like a little like a PX type of thing where you could buy like snacks and you could buy like bullcrap Indian arrowheads and stuff like that.
Necklaces, like,
so everybody else in
Authentic Native American Indian arrowheads made out of plastic.
No, they were like made out of stone, but they were
Rubber.
fake. And like everybody's family gave them money so they could buy snacks and have stuff.
Oh.
And of course, I'm from the family that doesn't, I had the bare
Believe
minimum.
in that.
I had the bare minimum.
No snacking.
No extra money at all for anything. I couldn't get anything. My sister was there though, and I don't know.
She hardly had money.
She was in the same boat. I think we both could afford one arrowhead, which was $1 for a week. That's it. There was no. I'm going to get an extra
Dude, I went
milk
to
or
fucking
nothing.
Canada for a fucking week. To Canada for a week, and Dad gave me $5.
And meals weren't included in the trip.
Dude, fucking, we're talking old Canada, not fucking Canada with the good money. This is now good Canada back when our money was like, you could spread it around a little bit, but everything was expensive up there. Like, so we go to Mickey D's at $5 is like, what, 2 hamburgers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
can eat
that's
under
sort
the
of.
trash.
Yeah, well, dude, I can't even do that because it was fucking the dead of winter. All the fucking trash was frozen solid. Like, what are we gonna do? Fucking run up with a fucking wrestle down a fucking caribou and fucking gnaw at its throat with my teeth?
Stick it under your armpit and let it defrost for a while.
Yeah, camping in Canada in winter is probably not wise, especially as a child. All right, Larry, Scout, 4-H.
Yeah. My actual first camping trip was my
uneventful.
Yeah, it was kind of boring. So if you want to skip me and go to the next guy. Now, this guy my dad worked with at the time was a scoutmaster, and he needed one more adult, to chaperone a camp out. So my dad said he would do it, and I went there, and that was my first real camping trip. And we went lean-to camping in like October or November, which if you've never gone lean-to camping in winter in Ohio, sucks really badly.
I have. You're right. The first thing I discovered about Ohio is we have a lot of fucking bugs.
Well, see, the bugs aren't that bad that time of year, but like we were all huddled together in our, the lean-to that we built out of, a tarp and some friggin' logs and rope, and the next morning, all the adults get up and the coffee had frozen in the pot sitting next to the fire, so. It was just like brutally cold, and we all wake up like
playing right now.
with like a layer of permafrost over us. So that was my first camping trip, and for whatever reason,
3 feet below the.
for whatever reason, after that exciting experience, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to be in Boy Scouts because that's great. But of course, I had to join that particular troop because now I knew people. So I grew up on the west side of Cleveland, but I was in a Boy Scout troop out of Garfield Heights, which is not the west side of Cleveland, for those of you who don't know.
Brother man, how you doing?
Garfield, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3.
So that's how I got into Scouts, and most of the other good scouting stories we've touched on in the past, me putting the axe through my shoe, me throwing the empty propane tank on the campfire.
Good.
Just always a classic.
Okay. All right, cease.
Nope. Skip.
Okay.
Next.
You can't skip. You have to invent something.
Yeah.
So I was in.
I was in the clown. No.
I joined the Cub Scouts late, and it was a Weeblo, which Brian always had fun with. Yeah.
The fuck?
The Weeblo is like there's the bear, the cub, the wolf, and then when you're too old to get, or you're too young to quite get into Boy Scouts, and you're too old for the bear, wolf, and cub, they make you a Weeblo. And I wasn't a Weeblo very long. Basically, I was like one for like I was one for like maybe like 3 months or something, and then they said, okay, now you can be in the Boy Scouts. And the Boy Scouts was a completely different thing. Like where the Weeblo, you're basically in, like you're still in your elementary school with your friends.
Small,
I was actually in there.
Weeblos were just right.
I was actually in there with Tony Anderson. I was a Weeblo with Tony.
Oh, right on.
Ainsworth, and his brother was in Scouts, Bert, and I went into Scouts, but Boy Scouts is different because it's like everyone, and there's like guys that are like in high school in there still, and you're just like, wow,
it's to get your ass beat.
Well, yeah, you're just like it's like way more serious, and it becomes way more like
by then.
It kind of becomes macho in a way, which was like it kind of just turns
guys with fucking butterfly collars and big gold chains and hairy chests.
Yeah, it just kind of turns me off because then it becomes like
everyone trying to pretend they're chachi.
It's really it becomes really masculine at times, and it's just like this is kind of gay.
Like my right guard, man. You like that? That's awesome, man. That's
so we went camping.
All these fucking patches I got, man.
We went,
yeah, man.
So I joined up.
That was for being awesome.
And they had this huge camp out.
Patch.
The camp out was at this place called. You guys having fun?
The patch is a picture of Stallone's face. That's just great.
What did you say it was?
Just a hairy chest with a big medallion in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's a macho patch. For fucking That's just
Village
great.
people staring at you.
Yeah.
Big hairy chest you could put on. There you go. Macho bit.
So I feel like sometimes I'm at like Lollapalooza and like I'm on the main stage and these guys are on the side stage and everyone's going to the side stage.
Going, fuck you, you suck.
See what the hell's going on. Yeah.
We're the old dudes at the fucking Muppet Show.
So exactly. So there's this. I go to this Beaumont, and this is the first camping trip I've been on because I didn't do any in the Weeblos, and it's Boy Scouts, and they're like, okay, well you got to share a tent. So it's like this long drive.
Together.
You set up one of these bullshit military tents that are like impossible to put together. There's like four bars,
Civil War style.
yeah, and like some rope and stuff. And I have no idea what's going on. And the people I'm in the tent with are complete jackasses, and I don't know who any of them are. And but anyway, I didn't know really what the hell was going on. But the next morning, they like get us all together, and they were staging a forest fire. They had like tires burning, and they had contacted the local hospitals to have ambulances there. The media was there, and they had all these people with dead bodies and bodies laying out in the fields and stuff. And we had to take these stretchers and go out and collect the bodies. And listen, I was about I must have weighed about $100, and I had no upper body strength at all, so I wasn't carrying shit, But they were like, "You gotta help us," and we got like the fattest guy ever. And we had to like carry him, and I was dying. I mean, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So we like carried him back, and there was like some guy acting. He was in the ambulance, and he was all screaming. He's like, ah, and stuff, and the news is like filming him.
Some guy's sawing his leg off like in every fucking war movie in the hospital. Like,
and I'm just staring at him or something, and I must have been a cute kid because I was on the news. And everybody the next day, all the adults who I guess, I don't know, had TV in their tent or something,
fucking stupid.
We're all like, hey, Kevin saw you on the news last night. Good job, man. Yeah, it was good. And everybody's just walking by telling me I was on the news. I was like, all I could think to myself was like, I got to shit, and I am not shitting in a hole in the ground. Because I was deathly afraid of bees when I was a kid because I got stung by a whole nest of them. And
one flying up the old cake hole,
right? And there was no way, and so I was just holding my poo for like 3 days. I'm just in there like, God, I am not going. And that after that, like the other kids were like, "You got to clean the tent. Or we're not cleaning it. You clean the fucking thing." So like I was like, you know what, this whole thing is bullshit. And I like quit Boy Scouts like shortly right after. And
then you became an altar boy, which was better.
No, I was an altar boy from the start.
From the wee blow to altar boy, man. You really did.
He's promoted. That's what they do.
Wee blow to altar boy to late night trips through Lakewood to get some baby oil with Anderson.
Listen, there was no way.
Like that scene in Children of the Corn when you turn 18, you go out in the field.
I'm here, Lord.
There's no like choice in the altar boy situation. All right, that was like something that I had to do it. It wasn't like Kevin.
I was in Catholic school for 10 years and I managed to avoid being an altar boy.
Well, you didn't grow up in my family, so that's what the thing. There's no discussion.
Still somehow this was a duty that I got fucking passed over.
Well, that's because Carolyn thought you really were the devil's child, and that you might be an embarrassment if they have you up there because you might start going on the altar and stuff.
This is for you,
get a case of the giggles, dude. That wasn't fucking evil. I was stupid.
Well, they treated you like you might have
for showing up on Sunday.
I know that's true.
So, all right,
this communion is for you. It's just for everybody except for you. Shit.
All right, so let's see. Let's go around and do some memorable camping moments. Brian, you still have to talk about how you had to go through that work camp in order to go up into the mountains.
I was going to get to it, man. Goddamn, we're like right from fucking Cub Scouts. Okay, man. So you went to survivalist school. What was that like?
All right. Well, you're next, so you can tell us whatever story you like. Go ahead.
All right. So it was. I was on this. I think we mentioned in the previous show. I was in a youth group for troubled children, and because they were taking us up to the Adirondacks for 2 weeks to go. I don't know, fucking what they had in mind at the time. It turned out to be a lot of fucking hiking, which was pretty cool, I guess. But in retrospect, at the time, I was just like, this sucks. But I was away from my fucking step family, so that was kind of cool. In any case, and they decided that they wanted us to be able to go out in the woods and not be killed by creatures or fucking killed, fucking walking down the wrong way or whatever. So they had these two guys. I don't know if they were gay, so don't ask. But they didn't seem like it at the time. And they were like, they knew how to survive in the woods. So they were woodsmen, And what they did is they had like a bunch of shit they would show us how to, and that's when I had to sleep under a lean-to, which was ass, okay? Because I was in a sleeping bag with the drawstrings that like you pull on them, and basically it makes like a little tiny hole at the top. And I guess this is for when it's really cold out to keep the wind off of you. And I used it even though it was like 1,000 degrees out in the middle of summer because I wanted to keep the bugs out, and it didn't work. The little sons of bitches would just find them, okay? So for 3 days and 3 nights, there was no fucking sleep. I looked like a fucking beaten mess. And they made you fucking like, they did like all these different tests, like, okay, you're going to have to climb over this wall. And I'm like, okay, I saw this in a commercial for like joining the army. Right, so you got the idea. So you all have to figure out how to get across this wall. You make a human chain, and of course, the last person to get over the wall is, of course, out of fucking luck because you had to rely on a bunch of fat stoners to fucking pull you over. And, of course, none of us had any exercise. So we're like, we're not pulling you over, dude. You're dead, Another one was like there were 3 trees, and there was like this thick rope tied up, and it came up to like 6 feet high, and you're inside it, okay? And you're like, okay, you have to figure out how to get out of there, and you only have that 2x4 you have to use, and somebody has to come over here because it's electrified. So if you touch the wires, you're dead. Okay, obviously, it wasn't
they training you guys how to break out of jail or something?
I'm saying, dude. I was like, this is cool. This is fucking what I want to be doing, And so
Brian will be showing off those skills when the ghosts of Mansfield rise up to slaughter us all in a few months.
I'll be the first one that's dead.
In a year.
I'll have to like fucking step off the platform, like careful. Don't go that way. Dumbass bear fucking killed himself. I'm not dead. Well, we're not coming to get you. So yeah, it was pretty cool up until like I was like on day 3 and I hadn't had any real sleep. And by the time I came home, I had bug bites all over. You know, I had to go in the shower and make sure I had no fucking ticks and whatever the fuck else was there. But it was pretty cool, man. It just, you know, like they took me out. Like, it was like, you know, we went on a night hike to totally show us what it was like to be like trying to find your way around at night. And you couldn't. It was, I don't know what part of Ohio we were in, but it was fucking asshole dark, dude.
Get the
you couldn't see nothing.
Stick in the eye.
Yeah, well, you were afraid, dude. You're like, I'm gonna lose my fucking eye. This is so fucked up. And then like they put like a white lifesaver in between their teeth, and they would bite down on it, and you could see it in pitch black. It looked like a spark. We're like, oh, that's fucking trippy, man. So that was actually a pretty good time. I dug that shit.
Okay, Anderson, got anything else?
I once camped out for Kiss tickets. No, I mean I didn't. Yeah, I no.
Okay.
Memorable camp stories? Was that what the question was?
Anything? Yeah. Anything you got?
Huh?
Anything you got, man?
No.
Larry? Oh, did we lose Larry? Oh, we just lost Larry. Cease? Go ahead.
All right. I went camping at what was Salt Fork Lake, and that's 2 hours south of Cleveland area. I went out with 2 friends of mine. We packed up this great big Renault Alliance, which is the size of a pea car, and we drove out there. And we each of us had our own tent. We were going to go fishing, do all this shit, you know. And the only problem was it was like the beginning of like May, so it was like 30 degrees at night, and it was like it wasn't too bad during the day. We had sunlight and everything, so it wasn't too horrible. But one of the guys we went with, I went with Matt and Roger. Roger was a sleep all day until he felt like doing anything type person, and we're like, well, dude, you know, he'd sleep. The first day, he's like, I came here to relax, and he's like, he's in there all like. All day long. We're like, dude, really? We're like kicking him, trying to get him up.
Online.
Say what?
Huh? Oh, I think the thing just said Larry's online.
Oh, Larry's online. Anyways, so we went down and I caught a catfish, like right off the side of the lake there. Drug it back up and I set it on his chest, and the damn thing's like screaming, like, argh. He's like, oh fuck! Woke his ass up. He cut it up and he cooked this thing. And it was the most ungodly fucking shit we ever ate. I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna get food poisoning and all that. I was like, oh god, never eat this shit. So we threw the head and the parts in the fucking garbage. And we were playing like cards that night, and these fucking raccoons, like 6 or 7 of them, were like running around us and shit. We're like freaking out because we didn't know what the hell's going on. They started digging through the garbage and shit. And, you know, it was kind of weird. So we finally go to sleep, and it's like 30 degrees at nighttime. And I was fine. I was in my fucking sleeping bag and shit, and I was all warm and shit. And fucking Matt, I hear him like 3 o'clock in the morning. He's like, done. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm freezing. And I'm like, yeah, you know. But they had these bathrooms over there that were heated, and they had like hot water and everything. He's like, can you take me? It wasn't close to us. We had to drive to it. I'm like, all right. So I had to get out of there, fucking freezing ass shit, go all the way to this fucking shower house, warm, and he got warm, and then went back. So the next day, Mr. Sleepy was fucking sleeping all day again, and we're like, damn it, dude, we're not, you know, I'm not gonna let him like fucking sleep at night. So when he was fucking around with some shit, we took some, they call these fish eggs for fishing. We took all these little fish eggs, we stuck them under his tent, just about 4 or 5 inches. You can get your hand in there.
By bears
all the way around.
Oh fuck! What do we do?
So we did that before we left on this fishing trip, and he borrowed this fucking little ass outboard motor. It was like I think a half horse motor or something. Stuck it on this rowboat that we rented, and we're fucking going out. And he's got he's one of those you got to wrap the rope around the top of it and then pull it. It's like. So you wrap it around. And like, he must have been there for like 15 minutes. Finally got the fucking thing running. You know, and we're putting out. We're getting out of the fucking marina area. And I decided to like rock the boat a little bit, and the motor shut off. I'm like, oh, this is great. You know, we're going to piss him off, you know. He's like, God damn, why'd the motor shut off? You know, it's like, so he's out there for another 5 minutes, gets it running. It's like, you know, he sees a big blue fucking cloud from behind the boat. And it's like, and we're going like a mile an hour, you know. So I start rocking the boat and the fucking thing goes off again. He's like, God damn it, cut it out. He's getting all pissed. So, yeah, and that was about a half an hour of that shit. That was fun. And then Matt ended up losing all of his dad's lures, and it's like a fucking couple $100 of shit, you know. So we get back after that and went hiking, found some old stone houses, all bullshit and it's, you know, falling apart. Went back. We all decided it's fucking late at night. He goes back in his tent and his was closest to the woods, so we're fucking fall asleep and we hear these fucking raccoons start coming out, and you can hear the leaves rustling and shit, and you hear them fucking like, yeah, you hear them chattering to each other. Yeah.
You're gonna stuff him on his throat, need his eyes.
Like that.
Yeah, similar.
Sure.
Anyways,
We
hear his fucking tent start rustling. He's like, God damn, what the hell's going on? And he's like, starts punching the side of the tent, and he's like, they're trying to get in here. They're all trying to get these fucking eggs that are underneath the tent. It was fucking hilarious. They wouldn't leave him alone for like 40 minutes. It was crazy. He's like, hey, they won't leave me alone. He's like freaking out and shit. Matt and I were laughing so fucking hard. We were fucking dying. But yeah, that was pretty much the end of that trip. The next day we packed our little shit, and all we wanted, you know, if you get a couple of days without like chocolate, that's all you want, like a candy bar or something. So we sent Dickhead Roger up, and this is his way of getting even with us. He goes up there, I'm like, whatever you do, all I want is like a fucking Reese's peanut butter cup or something. All he has is this dry ass shit. You want something, you know, sweet. He goes, he leaves, he comes back an hour later, and he's finishing up this fucking like Reese's peanut butter cup. He goes, yeah, I got you some Dutch cocoa cookies. We're like, you fucking asshole. That was the end of that trip.
Okay. All right. Larry?
He's been taking a abyss.
Hello,
Larry?
my headset just
Broke off.
totally took a shit. Yeah,
Roll away.
I turned around to look at the TV and caught the wire on my arm, and my head just went shooting across the room. So, yeah, sorry, my bad.
Do you have any more stories, Larry?
Oh yeah. Well, I had the one. Kevin reminded me of it. Also from Boy Scouts, we were on one of our canoeing trips, and after we got back from a day of canoeing, we were building the fire. And this was actually my dad who went, and he was getting some of the, you know, we got all the little wood, but my dad went and got this big ass log, which happened to be a beehive. And yeah, I remember we were like building a fire and doing all that shit, and my dad goes off to get some wood, and then he just goes like running by, which is kind of funny if you've seen my dad, and basically just dives into the lake with this swarm of bees behind him. And
I can see your dad just like diving in and like,
yeah, he's like, ah! And I forget how many times he got stung actually, but they had to like take him to the hospital, and he's like, the whole rest of the trip was him, getting stung by the bees wasn't half as bad as the adrenaline that they gave me in the hospital. Because when he came back that night, he was just like wired from them pumping him full of adrenaline because he had so many bee stings. So he's all like foaming at the mouth, and of course surly about the whole experience. So that was a good time.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, should I continue on to some more, or are we going to do a round robin?
We'll keep going around. Yeah. Until we, last man standing. So, as kids, Brian and I, we didn't really do very much camping with the our stepkids or anything like that because, as we said, the family was broke and
disaster. We went. I don't know. We went out to that fucking trailer
Well, okay, that's true. We could talk about that.
Which was another time where we all tried to find places to fucking hide from my dad snoring because I slept in the car. God damn, he was bad.
Okay,
died, and I'm like, doesn't it have to be running? Shut up.
Our stepbrothers and sisters, their
smart ass.
Their grandfather was basically well off. The guy used to build boats. And
he had his own hardware.
And he had property, he had real estate and stuff. And he owned a cottage and he owned a shed. And we would usually go to this cottage, and the cottage was like, it was big. There was room. There was like bunk beds for everybody, and they had a couple of boats. They had a rowboat and a power boat and a dock and all this kind of crap. And we'd go water skiing and stuff. Not me. I can't fucking save my life. And we'd fish.
Water skiing for Kevin and me means being dragged behind the boat.
This was
everything Kevin hated.
Yeah, this was okay. It was all right to do, but it was like one of those things where, like, if you were there,
we were stuck with fucking.
If you were there too long, it was just really kind of you got really bored. I mean, you just start whipping rocks at people and stuff, and you get in trouble and
playing jarts.
Yeah,
to kill.
It was for considering we had nothing, that was pretty good. But then they had this trailer that we rarely went to because obviously there wasn't enough room for like 12 people at a freaking trailer. But they had
one, women in the other.
They had these golf carts, and I'll just tell this story. And they had like 4 or 5 golf carts that they would use to drive around and go to the different areas of the trailer. And I was sitting on the back of the golf cart, and we were on a hill,
strapped to the front of it, like in fucking Serenity. Like
I caught that, by the way, the trailer bit.
Well, the trailer was just there. I mean, it's like, it was just a trailer, and then the golf carts were on the outside, and it was like the trailer was parked in an area where a common area. And he had all these various golf carts, and like 2 of them worked really well, and then there was a couple of junky ones. And anyway, so I was on the back of the one, and we were going up a hill or something, and then they switched drivers, and then I don't know who got in or something, but they slammed their foot on the gas, and I went flying out the back.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I went rolling down the hill like something right out of a freaking comic book movie or something. Completely got my ass kicked going all the way down this thing, and that's about it, though. I mean, Brian, I don't know if you've got any better stories about that place, but I mean, it was really kind of uneventful.
Like, Amy was there, our older stepsister, and the people that we went there with, they had their daughter, and all they did was they blithered off by themselves, and you would just hear them crying. Then they would come back and get screamed at and shit. It was like horrible. They were just constantly like trying to start fights, but they would like,
they're bored like us. I mean,
they were completely fucking not in their right mind because they'd sit around and they'd play stupid fucking games. Like word games and stuff like that with each other, and I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, are you serious? Like mind trick games, and of course I would just sit there like going, huh? I couldn't participate because I didn't know what they were doing. So yeah, there was just nothing to do. They had like their great.
You didn't find that
granduncle that was sitting in a chair, and all I could think of was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre later. Like, God, that was spooky, man. He's a really old Polish fucking guy who couldn't speak any English.
Okay. You didn't find that stray girl that would be like all by herself, and you guys.
I think that actually did happen at one point.
Yeah, and, I hate that shit. It's like you guys are like perfect. Yeah, they're always like you always get along really well, and then you got to leave. You're like,
dude, my stepbrother, man. One was older and one was younger, and they could literally just like, we're going to go over and visit these people that we think are here. Nobody knew what the fuck they were really doing. Okay, they just disappear. Like, oh, it's okay. Kevin and me are like, you're not allowed to get out of their eyesight, because we'd be fucking around. So I mean, like, what are we gonna do? We don't, this was. I understand they didn't want us to go fucking take 3 steps away and get lost, because we were infamous for fucking getting lost.
Okay, I'm hearing a bit of an echo on somebody's mic, but not sure.
Probably me, because I just got in.
Oh, okay. All right. Well then, Brian, I guess that's all you got. Anderson's got nothing else. Larry, you got another one?
Yeah. I camped outside for Kiss tickets.
This was a few years back. I went camping with the Soprano brothers, Dave and Rob, and
Rob is real hardcore on all that shit. He was an Eagle Scout, and he's always camping, and he's got the ridiculous camping gear set up, and he's like, we should go camping. So it was like one of those wacky holiday weekends, Memorial Day, Labor Day, some kind of day, and we're like, hey, we came up with a plan. We're gonna go hiking. And we're going to make this an annual thing. Every year we're going to pick a different place. We're going to go camping and hiking for the weekend. And the place he found was perfect because they had a bunch of different trails, including a pretty short one because Lord knows my fat ass hadn't been hiking since, Boy Scouts 100 years previously. So he's like, this place, they had some short one that was like 5 or 7 miles. He's like, this is perfect. So we went camping. And we after our first night where
There were dinosaurs.
yeah, zombies came out of the woods. We spent the first night, of course, with the usual camping fare, cooking shit around the fire, and then of course we had a 2-liter of generic soda that we dumped some out and filled the rest with Jack. So we had a 2-liter of Jack and Coke, except it was like Jack and Tops soda, which was kind of nasty. So we spent the first night getting all drunk, woke up to go hiking the next morning. Now, Rob and Dave are really hardcore. They got their rucksacks, they got their trail mix, they got their compasses, they got all that shit. I come out of the tent in my tennis shoes, which I didn't realize had like ripped along the seam, so I could stick my toe out on the side if I wanted to. I had a pair of the camouflage, urban fatigue shorts with the big pockets, and I had a couple beers stuffed in the pockets, and I was like, "This is my hiking gear. Let's go!" And so we move out, we go hiking.
Larry, Rob, and Dave on a routine expedition.
And that's how it went. Because Dave and Rob, of course, argued over who should be, in charge of the map and who should be on point. And anytime one of them thought, I think we were supposed to take that fork in the trail, then they'd argue over the map, and I'd just stand in the back drinking my beer. And finally, it occurred to us that A, this path seemed really overgrown, and B, even as out of shape as we were, it shouldn't be taking this long to hike 5 or 7 miles or whatever it was. So they're once again arguing about the map, and I was like, you know what? Let me see the goddamn map. Because you see what that is? That's a lake. And that's what in the Army, we used to call that a landmark. So let me see the fucking map. And I'm looking at the map, and I was like, okay, we're on the red trail, right? Yeah. Okay, well, the lake should be on the other side of us then. And apparently at some point we had wandered off onto at least one, possibly 2 of the other trails. By the time we gave up and decided to go cross-country looking for civilization, we finally found a road and got somebody to pick us up and take us to the front gate of the camping grounds. Our 5 or 7 mile hike, best we can tell, we did about 12 or 15 miles lost in the woods of Ohio. So that was a good time.
Okay, Cease?
Kevin and I had a decent half-day camping trip. My parents were building this house out in these woods and shit.
Fucking horrible.
And we decided a couple of times went out there, and we Kevin didn't go, but we went with a couple other times and camped out at this field. So it's more of woods than anything. And this time we went, and the house was like half done, so the roof was on it and the walls were there, but there wasn't, you could still see the outside and shit. And we didn't put the tent up yet, and it was fucking 99 goddamn degrees.
It was unbelievably fucking hot. It was like, my God, I fell asleep from the heat, and then I was like, woke up in a pile of sweat, and Cease had drawn a picture of Roger on a piece of cardboard, and he was throwing heavy nails at it in rage.
It was so fucking hot. When you hear them goddamn great big bugs out in the fucking woods, like, they're like just waiting to gnaw the flesh off your dying bones and shit. Oh, it was so fucking. We were like,
finally we're like, I finally look at Kevin. He looked like somebody just threw him off a bridge and he's just laying in the street. I'm like, you want to get the fuck out of here? We're like, yeah. So we had to walk all the way to this Holiday Inn and call his dad to pick us up.
Yeah, I just called Dad and I was like, Dad, could you please pick us up? He was like, yeah, all right. Thank God.
Oh my God.
It was horrible. So, all right. So our mother was into camping when we were kids, and
oh God.
We went to we went to Yosemite and stuff like that, and
where we soon discovered our mom couldn't make fucking pancakes.
But this one time, she liked to go to this place called Mount Pinos, and it's way up in California mountain, whatever those hills are and stuff.
We usually clouds below you.
Yeah, clouds below. So you get up there and it's peaceful. It's like little butterflies flying around. And it's quiet. There's not very many people up there.
I turn to breathe.
The people that are up there, they have like campers and stuff. And my mom and her boyfriend would be like, "They're
Sherpas.
That's not camping. Like, having that's not camping. We're gonna rough it. This isn't what they got. Isn't camping and stuff." And you're like, "Yeah, that's not camping. They got
mountain goat.
They got a trailer. That's bullshit. So we set up and everything. So we get into the tent at night, okay, and we're in the stratosphere. Basically, and it's all peaceful at night or during the day, and then at nighttime, it's just like the wind comes and it's like, and the whole tent's going like rocking and stuff, and you're like, oh my God, what's going on? And it's freezing cold, and you're just like, where the fuck are we?
Sleeping on Mom brought these fucking air mattresses, and we were supposed to try to sleep on it. It was like sleeping on a car seat. Anytime you moved, the thing was like,
yeah, and it's making this horrendous noise. And our mom's no good in these situations because she's sitting there going, I think there's a bear. And you're like, what? There's a bear.
She's fucking like for people who are into the horoscope, she's a Cancer, which means she's a fucking drama queen. So she's just immediately just like, oh my God, the wind, it's gonna knock the tent over.
Yeah, it's gonna blow the tent over the mountain and stuff.
The mountain's gonna inflate.
And you're a kid and you're freaking out. You're like, oh my God, are we really gonna, because you have no idea. Like, you just want to run out of the thing and stuff, and then the bear is gonna eat you. And
a bear is immune to the wind. Just standing there.
Yeah.
Glowing red eyes. Because Mom would always finally, like, her boyfriend was with him. Was like, no, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, shut up. Don't tell me to shut up.
You just wake up, you'd be like, you're just so freezing cold in the morning. You're like, my God, what happened? And it's like,
sick. I'm going to throw up.
We're going to make pancakes over the open fire, so they're all black and, I don't know, just not good. So that was memorable in and of itself. It's just kind of how drunk they could get while Brian and I wandered around.
Then we go hiking, and the one guy she was seeing was like ex-army, so he would like take off hiking at like 70 miles an hour, and her girlfriend, my mom, had the two little weak-bodied sons, could not fucking possibly keep up. We were like, I look at my mom like, where's your boyfriend? She's like, well, he's in the army. He's used to moving very fast.
Oh, my God, yeah. She took us on this one time. She took us to this freaking
death march.
See him hanging a corpse up in a tree and pulling a spine out.
She was part of the Sierra Club, and she took us on this crazy switchback trail hike that was like dying. 10 miles long. And listen, man, we're from
up front with the fucking guys blazing the trail, and I was a dehydrated fat boy, like, fucking can't go on.
Kids, 10 miles when you're a kid's a fucking ass kicker going up a mountain. I don't think I could do that today. And
it was hot.
It was hot.
I mean, that's the Sierra Mountains, but it's fucking hot. It's like where there's snow.
And she brings water and stuff, and she's like,
But she used that coconut suntan lotion, and the fucking guy goes, okay, which one of you's wearing coconut suntan lotion? My mom was like, that's me. I'm wearing it. She goes, yeah, well, you might attract, like, mountain lions or bears, so if you see one coming, you have to get away from everybody else. Mom's like, oh, my God, really? I did not know.
And they're scaring you to death. They're like, all you hear is rattlesnakes everywhere. And stuff, And you're like, okay, be careful. Make sure you look for ticks at every stop and stuff. You're like, Jesus Christ, where the fuck are we?
On you when we were coming back from
I know.
Or something, man. It was crazy. But yeah, they kept talking like
sucking on a vein.
Wild. Like there's creatures out here that human beings have never seen. You know, the way they're going out, it was just ridiculous. Like you're gonna walk out the back, you're gonna hear, you know.
I was waiting for a freaking eagle to come down and grab me and fly off with me.
Yeah, something like from fucking Lord of the Rings, right?
Horrible.
Just fly off with Kevin.
It was certainly an experience. I mean, you get to do all this kind of stuff, but I tell you, man, it's like, I don't know. It was just, Brian and I could only do so much. We're just wandering around trails and stuff.
It's ridiculous, dude, because like we only saw our mom like maybe 2 months out of the year. And you try talking to her, and if you talk to her for longer than 5 minutes, she's like, Brian, shut your mouth. Yak. I would see you well, Mom. That's fine, Brian, but damn it, just be quiet.
That is true.
Please be quiet. I'm trying to walk.
Can't walk and listen at the same time.
No, it's because her boyfriend is probably getting fucking like, shut him up. You know?
Yeah. All right, so
I don't know what the fuck his problem was with us, but he was always nice to me and my brother, and then it was like, but Mom was like, he doesn't like you.
yeah, I know. That was always weird. Like he bought me like the Burger Time electronic game.
Yeah,
and
he bought me a
stuff.
Star Frontiers, the fucking RPG. Like he doesn't like us. He spent like almost $100 on us.
Take me on drives all the time.
Out of the blue. Fucking, it's like I was like, he bought that for you. Why?
I felt sorry for your ass having to deal with her.
Yeah. He was like, you don't have to. He thought that what Kevin was getting was pretty cool, but he looked at me with the fucking role playing. He was like, you sure? You don't have to get that, you know.
Dude, Star Frontiers was great.
Yeah, now we think it's cool, dude. It's cool to be fucking geeky, but back then, dude, it was like, you might as well fucking Dungeons and Dragons, you know.
Anderson, you're making a lot of noise. Are you home yet? Can you get on Skype or what, man?
Yeah, I'm just standing here.
Because your
getting my stuff together.
Your thing's lighting up all the time. I'm hearing noise.
Is your
TV on or something?
5 minutes.
The music's been going? What?
I said I've been muted for the past 5 minutes.
Oh, well, for some reason you're lighting up. Maybe your mute's not really on. How about that?
It isn't now, obviously.
Yeah.
How about that?
I'll be back. I'm listening. I'm just going to mute it again so you don't hear all the background noise.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Because nothing.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
maybe while you're doing that, why don't you think of some animal stories before you tell me that you hate animals and you don't have any...
Trust me, animal stories. I'm just waiting. I'm patiently waiting.
This one time I was camping out for Kiss tickets, and there were these rats on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I ate one. That would be a good story. All right, Larry, you got another one?
Yeah, bunch of us went camping out at this place here in Ohio, Nelson's Ledges, and my one buddy borrowed his brother's van, and we get to the place, we get all checked in, we get our campsite, and we're driving back through the woods to get there, and we had the side door on the van open, we're hanging out of it for whatever the hell.
Foot gets stuck under the tire.
Whatever the hell we were thinking.
Let me go.
We're going along, and like two of the guys were like leaning out, like, no, I think it's up here. Turn right up here. No. And then they both just kind of dive back into the van.
Out of the van by a bear.
You just hear, you just hear this like scraping noise. And we're like, dude, Don. The side door of the van was laying in the road behind us. We're like, dude, you totally just lost the door. He's like, fuck you guys, this is my brother's van. That ain't funny. We're like, no. Dude, I'm looking at it. It's sitting in the road behind us. And he looks in the rearview mirror. He's like, oh, my God. And, like, so the whole weekend.
Brother's got some tools.
The whole weekend was us, partying, drinking, all that shit. And with Don just sitting at the picnic table. My brother's gonna fucking kill me, because we're all like, no, we'll get it back to the campsite, we'll take care of it. So we try and get it like mounted back in the back in the track, and of course you can't just pop it in. So we're all taking turns like running at it with our shoulders to try and knock it back into place. So we got the door back on and shit, but it was all dented to hell, wouldn't close all the way.
Christ, dude.
So it was a good time. That was also the other big reason you go to. There's two reasons you go to Nelson's Ledges. One is everybody there has pot that they will share with you, And the other one is they have this really cool reservoir where you can go swimming, and there's this island out in the middle of it. And like 3 of the guys decided to swim out to that island, including our one friend Joe, who is in no kind of shape to be swimming out to an island. And we're like, Joe, man, seriously, this is a bad idea for you. You know, Brian and Don could probably do this, but Joe, I don't see him. Fuck you guys. He's one of those dudes. So they go out there. He gets maybe, he gets a couple 100 yards out, maybe. Then turns around. He starts coming back. Next thing we know, Joe is in the process of drowning. So nice. I go out. It's like, I got this. I go out there to get him and drag him back to like the ledge because the one nasty thing about swimming in a reservoir is it's like you go out and you can walk out to a certain point, and then the depth goes from like 5 feet to 140. It's a fucking cliff. So I go out, and of course, being the genius that I am, I get Joe back to the point where he can stand, and I was like, well, I'm already all the way out here. I bet you I could make the island from here. So I decided to try it. And I made it about as far as he did before I turned around and couldn't get back. So then I started drowning. And Dave, of course, my
good ever hear the backstroke?
my good friend Dave of Soprano Brothers fame hates water and doesn't swim. Well, at least that was his claim, because the whole time this was going on, and then Joe had to come out and try and get me. Dave is just running around back and forth on the beach. He's like trying to drag one of those canoes off the big rack. So yeah, good times. 2 of us almost drowned, and we busted my buddy's van.
All right.
Lots of drinking and pot, though. I mean, drinking.
Really good show.
Cease.
Yeah, I had one then. Totally forgot.
Well, we can do one together. I can do one together with this. Dot and I were in this. Dot and I were in this group called Daggy here. Okay, and basically, it was this
Fuzzy
sort of
teddy bear.
Yeah, it was this
SCA.
It was different. It was this
much more gay.
Yeah, it was this. It was this thing where
the old king.
They couldn't make a fucking thing. They couldn't make leather armor.
Let me explain it first, and then you can talk about it. Let people understand what we're talking about. It was this thing where basically you pretended that you were in a knight or back in the olden days, a barbarian or something.
Medieval reenactment.
Right? Medieval reenactment, but you used foam weapons. So you would build them. You would get like a piece of PVC pipe, and then you would put like marine foam and squishy foam on there with glue and stuff, and then you would wrap it, and then they would be tested for different levels of effectiveness and all this kind of crap. And
your effectiveness.
And Anderson, do you want me to put you in Skype? Is that what you're doing?
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So we can hang up on your cell phone, though, right?
That's awesome. I'm doing both.
Okay. So it was kind of gay, but let me explain something so everybody understands. When you're at this age group, because Cease and I were talking about this actually last night. When you're at this age group between like 17 and like before you turn 21, and you can go to the bar, there's nothing to do. There's literally nothing to do. When it turns nighttime, like the mall's closed. What else can you do? Nothing. You can't go to a bar. There's nowhere to go.
PVC pipe.
Well, no, but you could go. These were these are one of the things you could do. And no, believe me, I know. Listen, it never escaped us how gay it was, but it was just something for us to do. And
it's not only that. There was a lot of underage drinking and drugging, and
there was a lot of girls there.
Yeah.
So we okay. Now there's a huge organization called SCA. That's part of like a lot of universities. It's the Society of Creative Anachronists. And they do the same thing, but they use actual armor. They have like steel armor. Unless they're
tan swords.
Unless they're the barbarians, then they don't wear armor.
Man, you get fucking hit.
And then they have like these wood boken type swords. And they also have archery competitions and jousting and all this stuff. And once a year, they go out to Pennsylvania for this big battle. They call it the War. And it technically lasts 3 weeks. But there's a week of the War, which is... and Dagger people are invited to attend as sort of like related kingdoms. And all these kingdoms from all over the country go to this thing, and I think was it like
10,000 people?
Yeah, 10,000 people are at this thing.
It's a huge deal. It's not all over the country, man.
It's insane. And there's like a little village type of thing, and then there's like this thing called Two Chuck Hill, which is like all the barbarians sit on top of this hill. And Cease and I kind of went, and it was new to us. We were like, wow, this is kind of messed up. And at nighttime, you hear drums beating. You hear this like boom, 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 boom coming from Two Chuck Hill, and you can't get up to Two Chuck Hill because they'll tie you to the Tree of Woe and stuff like that. But eventually, we got up there, and the drum set was like a drum set. You're thinking it's like going to be kettle drums or something. Like there's going to be guys like going boom, 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 boom. But it was actually like a drum set, like from a band and shit. And you're like, all right, this is kind of gay. But so there's all these different kingdoms as well down there because they're fighting this war. The barbarians all stay together, and then I don't know all the names of all these things, but there's like different guys. And there's actually a whole group of gay people too, and they're called the Order of the Blue Feather. And if they had a blue feather in their hat, then they were gay. That's how they told each other they were gay. And right, exactly. So we would know to stay the fuck away from them.
Please don't camp with us.
So we were
Don't
camping
sleep in our tent.
We were camping in the with the Dagger Hair people, and the shower situation was kind of wonky. And I know Cease went nude bathing with a bunch of other people. That was too weird for me. I couldn't do that. And C says
it's called skinny dipping.
Yeah, C says no quality. Yeah, but it's in the middle of the day. Skinny dipping. Skinny dipping sounds like it's at nighttime. It was like daytime. Everybody's playing volleyball naked and shit. Cease is out there. Woo!
The water was so cold. I had a couple of fucking raisins hanging off.
Yeah,
it was very embarrassing.
It was really bizarre. So no, is it all guys doing this? No, it was a lot of girls.
Who's gonna play naked fucking volleyball?
My girlfriend. My girlfriend was actually there, so I was spending a lot of time with her. Well, Cease was hanging out with Roger and Matt Solars occasionally. And what happened was Don, you guys, you could take it from here, but you guys went out and drank a bunch of weirds. They had a couple of weird drinks. They had this thing called swamp gas.
Yeah, it was. Was swamp gas, and what it was is fucking Everclear mixed with fucking I don't know, Kool-Aid.
Like a green Gatorade, and it had a glow stick in it and dry ice. So it would glow and foam up and everything and go everywhere. It was bizarre.
Well, then I didn't know what the fucking Everclear was. It's like 200 proof. It's
and the blue stuff. You guys drank the blue stuff. Remember? That was the thing that really messed you up.
It's the same. Whatever. That's what it was. Is Everclear or something.
Right. Yeah.
And I went over there with some fucking goblet or whatever the hell I had. And I'm like, yeah, just pour this in there. And I forgot I had to give him something like a couple of cigarettes or something. And he's like, are you sure? Are you sure? That's a lot of this stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm all right. Fine. Just give me it. I'll just sip on it, And we walked around all these camps. You can walk for days and not see everybody in this place. I mean, it's huge. And we're walking around going to all these camps. And I finished it up. I'm like, dude, I gotta go get another one because I didn't feel nothing. I'm like, I gotta go get another glass. So we're like, all right, let's go back. All right, we go back over there. I'm like, and it was like an hour later. The guy's like, dude, you drank all that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're fucking crazy. I'm like, I don't feel nothing, dude. I'm like, just give me another one. He goes, I can't give you a whole nother. I'm like, all right, just half it then. He's like, all right, half. I'm like, I don't know what you're all fucking pissing about, So we started walking again. I started drinking it, and all of a sudden, every goddamn torch and everything that just kind of mixed together. It's like, oh, I'm like, what the fuck? It hit me. It hit me fucking hard.
Oh, shit.
Everybody's
I don't think I should drink this anymore.
Yeah. I wasn't sick.
Crazy.
I was just fucking, oh my God. I was following people that were in our camp because there was no fucking way I was going to find my way back. No way. I was grabbing people's shirts and shit. Hey, you were in my camp. And get off me, you fucker.
But you guys got busted, right? You were in the ditch or something, and you guys got busted because the next day you had to work in the clinic or whatever.
Yeah, what happened is Roger fell asleep next to this and they have these little areas where all the fucking the shitters are at, and they're all the fucking I don't know what you call them. I can't think of the ones you can move around,
Porta
and he
potty.
fell asleep on like on the back of one of them, and people are like pissing by his head and shit's like banging off the side of the fucking shitter. And I made it back to camp, and I fell asleep on the fucking hill, like right in the middle where all the tents were. I was sleeping next to the fucking fire pit, you know. I'm like, you know, and these guys walk out. I guess somebody called the emergency people, and they thought I was just completely passed out.
Dead.
Well, I guess I was, but
Until they touched you and you went,
yeah, yeah, they like come and pull me off the fucking grass because it was all frosted and shit. I'm like, get me to it. I'm like, where's your tent? I'm like, point over there. Kevin's like sleeping in there. I'm like, I'm like pointing at him, laughing and shit. I'm all drunk. He's like, whatever, just throw him in there.
Yeah, so
and then, and then the fucking sunlight comes up and it fucking turns like 1,000 degrees in the tent.
Right.
At like 9 o'clock every morning. You cannot sleep past 9. You're like, fuck, I gotta breathe.
It was so fucking hot. You're sitting in the tent and you're like, fuck, is it hot in here? And so like you
start kicking because you don't want to get up. You're like, fuck.
You got to get out. You're like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of this tent. And you go outside and it's hotter outside. And you're like, fuck. You know,
back in.
So it was funny, like Cease and
so then you go naked bathing with a bunch of guys.
Well, no, at this point, Cease and Roger were completely sick, and
I felt like shit.
They were sitting there like with this frown on their face and stuff, and I'm sitting there with the camping stove, like, "Do you guys want some cream of wheat?" And I start mixing some
cream
stuff,
of wheat, fellas,
and these guys just like lean forward, and they're like, dry heaving into the grass. And it's like, dude, don't do that here. Gross and stuff.
And then we get this guy comes over to us from this medic camp, and he goes, "You guys got duty at blah 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 blah. You got to be over there and take care of the sick people or something." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You got to sit there and watch people throw up."
You're going to show them how to throw up
in a bucket. You got to sit there and hold the fucking bucket for them. Like,
you're like, that's not how you do it. Watch this.
So then somehow he finds a way to fucking become like a I don't know what the hell it is, like a
roving pickup guy,
like a safety dude or something. I don't know what the hell, like a crossing guard for them people, because and they're like, what it is you've got to go to these camps and calm people down and whatever. And Roger was no help because he's nothing but a living stick, and I wasn't much of a fucking. Like, I was, like, scared to death somebody's going to stick me with a fucking sword, and, they're all high up on fucking acid or something. So,
how you doing,
driving around, it's him and I in a golf cart, driving around, and people are just giving us beers and shit. Hey, here you go. We're like, all right, this is good. And we get this call. All right, you got to go over to this camp section, blah, blah, blah. There's something going on over there. So we go over there, and there's naked dudes running around sword fighting.
Yeah.
We're like, really?
Swords?
Like with swords or
real swords? No, not the skin sword fighting. I'm talking real. I'm like, dudes. I'm not coming over there. They give you this little speaker. I'm like, all right, guys, put the shit down because I'm not getting near your naked ass. They're like,
you gotta tackle them, take them to the ground.
This is according to the rules, blah blah blah. And they calm down. They're like, all right, we get out of there, and then there's this other place. These people are running this huge fucking bonfire, and they jump over the motherfucker barely, and they throw this fucking whatever they're drinking over their back. All you see is this big flame flying up in the air. We go over there. I'm like, are you serious? All right, please cut it out. They give you this thing you got to say, according to the rules or whatever. And they're like, fuck you. I'm like, all right, we drive off. I'm like, I ain't get my ass kicked for this shit.
It's a crazy
I'm telling
place.
on you.
There's like guys that you can like sell yourself into slavery to a woman and stuff, and she can like buy you for the night, and then they just like she keeps you outside her house or her tent and everything, and it's like lords and ladies. If there's like kings and queens walking by, there's people in front of them dropping like rose petals and stuff, and wherever they walk, and there are like really attractive girls there, but they're surrounded by like an army of like armored men with real
guys
swords.
With swords.
Yeah, and you're just like, all right, well, that's not it.
It's kind of hard to fucking go up and say, hey, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you're just basically like, all right, I'm just going to go find some place where I'm not going to get.
You'll have
freaking
like
shanked.
areas like people doing fucking voodoo and shit, or belly dancing and
Yeah,
shit.
belly dancing.
It's crazy.
Yep, it's there's like gypsies and it's you can look it up on the internet too. It's Penzic. It's just this wild thing that goes on. But okay, Brian, you got another one?
Yeah, we had that fucking crazy goddamn. Speaking of dagger here, we camped out in that one fucking person's farm when I was the goddamn. I was the bog monster. That was fucking crazy.
That was
It was
awesome.
so fucking cold.
Oh my god! They're like,
Our
you can't bring
bright
any alcohol. Everybody had a fucking bottle of alcohol, man, because we knew we were gonna freeze our asses off.
Let me explain.
And fuck-
Let me explain. Hold on. Let me explain to the audience.
Go ahead.
What we did is Don's friend Roger formed his own kingdom in Daggett for like. It seemed like it lasted about a month. And
Oh, no, it was about half a year.
okay,
Bullshit.
and we had created a sort of a fantasy camp out, and there was it had really good ideas behind it. Basically, let's see. Don was the rock troll. He had like big pillows that you could throw and crush people to death. And Brian was
Crush you with my pillow.
Brian was the bog monster. He had like water balloons of acid or something. If he hit you, not real acid, but it would it would kill
you're all
you.
tripping out.
This girl that was there, Sylvia, she was like pestilence. She could touch you and make you die from disease. I was like Charon. I had a glow in the dark arrow that I could shoot at people. It was a real arrow with a big sock on the end. And
The sock really stopped at arrow.
Sylvia's boyfriend, who I cannot remember his name right now, Ken. He was like he had this totally awesome like devil makeup on.
Oh, the devil mask.
Yeah, and he could raise people from the dead and fight for him. And Roger was the old man that he would go to the campsites and barter for people's lives and stuff over the fire. And I think Solar's was something too. I forget.
Yeah, he never made it though. He
didn't make it. And we actually created like a guide. It was like a book. It explained all the rules and everything. It was a booklet. And unfortunately, by the time we got it organized, it was late in the year, so it was cold as fuck. And it was
raining.
It was raining, and it was way out in like Oberlin, which nobody wanted to drive out to. So only about half a dozen people really showed up. So it was a total disappointment. But yeah,
Kevin showed up, and he and his girlfriend disappeared in the tent for the first fucking 48 hours. They did not come out, man. I'm like, so what the fuck are we doing? I don't know. Where's your brother? He's in the fucking tent with his girlfriend. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, fucking away.
Yeah,
completely crazy. And he comes out, he's all fucking like, "Wait, what's going on? Woo, yeah!"
What else was there to do? Don't make fun of me. Come on.
Tabby would fight. I chased people around for a little while, and I was like, "This is dumb." And then the worst part, I'll go ahead and fucking get on this, is somebody went in the fucking barn, which I didn't even know there was a barn, but there was a barn, and left the fucking water spigot out in front of the barn.
I didn't hear
And I forgot who, like, go in the barn and help somebody do something. I can't remember what. So I follow them, and the fucking daughter looked at me and goes, my dad looks at me, she says to me, my dad's really pissed off at you because you left the water out of the barn all night.
Yeah, it's better you than me. Usually it's me. I get the.
I didn't say that exactly. She was on a horse, first of all, so it made her look more.
She looked good.
She looked more foreboding because she was on that damn thing, and then she like said, she accused you of leaving the water on. You were like, it wasn't me, and she was like, she was still pissy about it and went off.
Yeah, she's like, well, my dad's really mad at you. And I'm like, dude, this is the first time I've been in the fucking. I didn't even know you had a I didn't know.
She's like the
Is that what this building is? This is a barn?
Dude, she did not want to fucking listen to anything I had to say. Okay, as far as
because you were in monster makeup like the rest of us. She probably thought we were nerds and shit, which we were. And I
was just like, whatever.
She took off on her horse.
Not like that trip we did to New York, where my fucking tent was a complete disaster.
All right, hold on. We'll get to that. Let's go around. So, Larry, you got another one?
Nah, I will defer.
Oh, really? All right. Well, then I guess it's.
I got dagger hair story.
Oh, all right. Go ahead, man.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
Okay. So my brother was in that way back, like when we were like 12 or 13, right? So it's like before we could even do it. And I was like, you got to take me. You got to take me. And he was like, all right, fine. So he dressed me up in this crazy getup. And he's like, you'll be my squire. You'll carry all my stuff. And you'll do as I say.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, okay.
Physical labor.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm like, oh, okay. I don't care. And I didn't know what to do. So it's like I walked into this building and this dude comes up to me and he's like, I don't remember everything he said, but he was like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, Donnie. He's like, "That's not a name." He's talking. "That's not a name I know from this region. Where are you from? What are you doing? Bow in front of me." And I'm like, what? He's like, "Get down on your knee." And I looked over his shoulder. My brother's standing over there. I'm looking at him like, "Dude, what am I supposed to do?" And he just shrugs his shoulders like, "Whatever." And just turns around and walks away. I'm like, "Son of a bitch." I'm like, "I don't know." I go, "Am I supposed to bow to this guy?" I'm like, "I don't want to. I don't want to be a bitch." And then I just sat there and stared at him, didn't say nothing. And then he was just like, "I'm done wasting my time with you." And he just turned around and left. And I was like, okay. It's like, what the hell is wrong? It's like, what are you guys doing? I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here. I'm like supposed to follow my brother around. You like cut us off. And then you go running around the woods and all of a sudden, you get an arrow in the back. You're like, what the fuck was that?
Stuck to the tree.
I hated that fucking bullshit talk more than anything.
Yeah, everything had to be period, which was a real pain in the ass.
I'd be like, "All right, fucketh thou." They'd be like, "That ain't."
My groin itches.
You would like go on a camp out or something, and if you like, we'd have like wood bowls, crockery type of stuff, because you had everything except for the tent had to be period. Your outfit had, and if it wasn't, people would just nag you about it.
Dude, I was fucking disgusting because you had that one guy who said he was a barbarian, and he showed up the one time he's like wearing like leather underoos.
Oh, that's like Oron. Yeah,
leather. I was like, "God, do I really got to look at this guy's ass?"
He had like just a loincloth on the whole time.
I'm like, come on, like how the fuck can you do that? That's ridiculous. He's like, ah.
The best thing he claimed he was like the best fucking like I don't know what, a knife fighter, and he had these little fake spongy knives, I never lost a fight. I beat him like 5 times in a row. He got so mad he drove off.
He worked at Chuck E. Cheese, man.
Cease would always kick everybody's ass because he had this giant weapon called the donkey dick, and it was this huge, like it just was like a huge stick with a giant pillow type thing on the end.
Names for their weapons.
And the guy
I
teddy bear act, donkey dick,
and Cease, he's been working on like steel pipe like since he was a child, so he has this massive upper body strength, and he's just out there and he's like, woo, and hitting guys, and they're just going, and they're getting nailed.
You were supposed to hit them just hard enough so that they knew they got hit, but not so hard that you fucking crippled them.
They always lie about it. He hit me, but they couldn't lie because they were flying off.
Yeah, exactly, and it didn't matter because they could never get near him because he had that thing, and he'd just be like, whoosh, and just knock him on the ground and stuff, and you're like, damn.
I sparred with Cease once, and I accidentally hit him with the balls, and he got up and had the vein bulging as far as like, okay, let's do it again. I'm like, fuck you, dude. You're going to kill me. No way.
Yeah.
I fucking fell in the middle of your goddamn driveway. It was all icy. I hit my head. It's like all fucking split open in the back. He comes over me with this frozen fucking weapon and hits me right in the head. And I'm like, oh, god damn.
It's war.
Well, Anderson's brother had all of these taped weapons from the way back when like Daggerhair didn't like cloth cover their weapons. It was just covered in duct tape.
Duct tape,
and we gave his brother like some unknown amount of money. And he gave him, and then he gave him to us. Yeah, but we took him out to like in the wintertime. We took him out behind the school and we're like fighting with him. This was before we knew how to fight Dagger style, and we were doing like full on baseball bat type swings.
It was like the Warriors in a fucking brawl.
Or just like
you'd get those guys that it was just a stick with like a big piece of foam like flapped over it, and then you'd get those guys that hit you so hard that the stick like slides out from inside of it and hits you, and like it's like the pad hits you, and then the stick keeps coming and hits you anyways. And you're like, you get poked in the ribs with it or whatever. You're like, oh, you motherfucker! It's like, son of a bitch, like tape that shit up. They're like, it's all taped up. And it's like, but it would always slip. They'd hit you the wrong way with it.
The Baird brothers just grew up hitting each other with real sticks in the yard, so we were completely ready to go.
They're just oblivious to that.
Nothing.
They didn't fucking think that we were going to fucking like go into this shit and not know what we were doing, because we were like, no, we live for this.
My brother and I used to have real rock fights. You'd come back with blood coming out of your head. That shit didn't bother us.
So there was a Daggerhair only camp out that happened in New York, and it was at a Wiccan compound. Basically, they had grown a bunch of trees up into the in the formation of a pentagram. They actually lashed the tops so it would form a pentagram at the top, and they would have what they call like a astral portal drum beating festival there, where all the Wiccans would come and beat drums for a weekend because they would try to open an astral portal. We didn't attend this, though we were invited. And
nothing else to do.
This was when
it would be kind of cool if it did.
Roger was creating his kingdom. Okay, and he had suckered Cease into building a wall around the compound. I say suckered Cease because okay. And
he's not offended at all.
It was this amazing undertaking. Cease had built like this giant wooded wall system, and we brought it in on a U-Haul, took it all the way out there, and Roger's only job was to buy the kegs of beer for the pit fighting that would happen later on, which we'll explain in a minute. But Roger failed at that. But anyway, so they had built this huge encampment that you could have held about like 20 tents inside this thing. I swear to God. And it went all the way around. And then they had built a big gate. And then there was Roger had bought like $110 dragon's head mask that looked like a dragon's head, and had it on
that thing's kick-ass.
Yeah, and had it on the top in the middle. And then there were tiki torches going around the outside. It was the most elaborate fucking thing ever, as far as this shit went. As far as this Dagahir stuff went. And
you had. You brought your fucking radio.
Yeah, we were playing like
Conan music.
Conan music while we were putting it together and stuff. And so we had this thing, and we were out there. And Cease, you want to talk about how you put the soy sauce all over your bed? That night?
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Kevin had this. What the hell? You were fucking. You had steaks.
We were making.
You're
steaks.
Like this time. We're not.
Seconds.
Oh, all right. If you're listening live on Blog Talk Radio, it's going to disconnect you, and so you probably want to switch the shoutcast.
Hey.
Otherwise,
90 seconds.
We'll pick back up again on Blog Talk when we start.
It fucking puts this crazy baud signal through our fucking headphones. We're all like, ah! That's all I hear.
Okay, and
anyway,
yeah.
All right, am I going on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so Kevin's like, this time we're not fucking starving. We're bringing our own goddamn. Shut up, bitch. Anyways, so I got these steaks. You were working at the fucking Stofers then, weren't you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So he's on this big cooking kick. He had this he was gonna marinate these steaks. He goes, all right, I gotta have somewhere to put them. I'll just stick them in your tent, because it was pretty close to where we were cooking, anyways. And I didn't think about it, but I go in there. I fucking put my knee on this goddamn pan. It takes all this soy sauce and fucking pours it all over my fucking sleeping bags and shit. So now it's like, during the day, of course, again, it's fucking 95 degrees, and this shit's just baking in there, fucking stinking and shit. So that's part of it, right? He ends up cooking that, and then later on, I get one of the women that were in our group were supposed to go get ice, and they had this ice box in the front.
Oh God, I remember this. Go ahead.
And the dumbasses go over there and ask the guy that owns the place. They had ice there, but he charged like fucking $6 a bag or something crazy. And they're like, well, we bought ice. Can we put it in your ice box? I'm like, you what? You asked him? He got so fucking mad about this shit that he was going to kick our whole campment out, after all this building, all this shit. And I'm like, I finally go over there, talk to him. I'm like, these people are idiots. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'll do anything to, calm them down. I end up doing all the fucking dishes for this great big fucking, I don't even know what the hell it was. I was in there for 3 fucking hours.
Yeah, the guy was really upset and offended that you went out and bought ice somewhere else rather than his, because that was the only way he made extra money.
Yeah, so I had to make up for it. It wasn't even my fault. I should have been the dumbass. I think of her, Beth and Roger. Again, Roger, the fucking dumbass. So I'm in there fucking doing these dishes, and I get out. Finally, it's dark, right? Everybody's having a blast. Fires everywhere. Everybody's screaming. Ah! I get out. I'm all pissed off. I fucking get to the camp. I'm like, get my shit back on, and some dude is like hitting on my girlfriend at the time, and he's like, yeah, have some more to drink, and this. She is fucking wasted. I mean, completely wasted,
and not understanding anything the guy's saying to her too, because she was German and had no understanding of the English language at all.
Yeah, and especially when she's drunk. So I push the guy off her, and I get her into get her into the tent because she's completely. I'm like, all right, just go to sleep. You know, I try to catch up with some beers and shit, and everybody's like, who the hell are you? I'm like, dude, I'm like part king of this fucking thing, and no one knows it because Roger's like out there saying, I'm the king. You know, so we did all the fucking work. Finally, it starts dying down, and this is the part where they do the. You want to talk about the pit fights?
Sure. So basically, they had set up this unorthodox, not sanctioned, one-on-one pit fighting situation, and they had built like a little ring around the outside, and they had one-on-one matches, which everybody at this point was trash because Roger and Don and Matt Solars had bought like 10 cases of beer and poured it into like an ice pit, and everybody was just out of their mind drunk. And I don't quite remember the rules anymore, but it had something essentially to do with like
there was grappling, but no punching or nothing, and you'd throw a weapon in there.
Guys would get
whoever got it first could use it. Blah blah blah.
Guys would get naked. Guys would start fighting each other naked, like something out of like Roman wrestling or something. I don't know. It
was just like the Conan thing, where in the beginning, where he starts fighting in the pit against the other guy. Whoever wins, keeps going, basically.
Right, and it went on for a while. I was actually getting laid in the tent, so I don't really recall too much about it. I do have some of it on video that somebody taped.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but it's really dark.
You're getting laid in the tent?
No, the pit fighting and stuff.
She's a moon.
And then that was.
Did she talk to you like, yes, my lord, you may take you may feast from the plentiful bounty of my whatever bosom.
Yeah.
I think I was drunk. It was more like, "Is that a booby?" And I was just wasted and no idea what was going on.
I'm medieval.
They put all these sticks in the ground, and they just shoved them in the ground, and they tied rope around. That was the pit, right? So they're fucking people throwing each other around and shit, picking them up and and this guy's head lands right next to this fucking stake. Wow. I'm like, oh my God, I thought it was going to go through his throat, and we were going to be all like, oh fuck, now what? So we ended up ripping that shit out so they could just fight. And then there's this one guy who was like, I didn't even know why he went in there. I wouldn't even go in there because I was like, fuck that. I didn't get my ass kicked. This one kid went in there. He's such a whiner. He kept on fucking, oh, you can't do that. It's against the rules. You punched me in the face. I was like, we're like, finally, this one guy was like huge. I can't even, Panther, they call him or something. He got so mad at this kid. He's like, fuck this game. I'm leaving. I'm like, oh, all right. So then some guy ended up winning. We actually gave him like a sack full of 50-cent pieces. I guess it was supposed to be.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So that shit ends.
Bag of coins and shit.
That shit ends, and everybody starts going away. And now the night gets good because it's starting to like lightning out and shit. And we're talking at the thing, and I hear my girlfriend kind of getting like ill. So I back off and I go into the tent, and now I smell the fucking soy sauce, and I'm like, fuck. And it's like I had to flip my bag over because I had nothing else, I'd flip it over, and she's like, I don't feel too good, I'm like, yeah. It starts raining, and it's raining like a motherfucker out there. It's fucking, as you see these cows floating down the side of the hill and shit. And I have this there was supposed to be a flap on the tent that stayed up with these two stakes, but the stakes were gone. The flap's just kind of blown in the wind. And she's like, I gotta throw up. Oh, God. I'm like, fuck. I zip open the fucking thing. I'm holding this flap, and she's barfing. People are laughing in other tents. I'm like, she's all fucking, like 2 hours. It's fucking raining on me and shit. Shit smells like hell. I just had to do all these fucking dishes.
Soy sauce in the tent.
Pissed. And then finally she calms down. It's like 2 hours of fucking hurling and dry heaving. And then she wants to like get with it, and her breath smelled like all hell. I'm like, no, this ain't happening. I'm sorry.
You just like my dick, but that's it.
Yeah. Oh my God. She's like, oh, I'm like, oh, please just not breathe on me. I'm going to fucking hurl now. It's like, fuck. And then, you close your eyes, and then the heat, it's like 110. Horse flies everywhere. It was fucking miserable.
All right. So let's move to,
look, Larry's back.
Is he? No, he's not.
Okay. Yeah, well, sort of. You have to give him a second to.
He usually chats me that when he's got everything back to where he wants to come back on the show. This, well, I don't know. Now he's just typing in the group.
What?
So, okay, so Brian, what do you think about camping today? Would you go camping today?
Oh yeah, totally. I'd love to. As long as I don't have to take anybody I know with me. I mean, besides maybe anybody. I mean by that, I mean anybody here in the house. Because the idea of taking my kids camping is just shudder at the thought. No way. Because there's no distraction. I can't well, here's a movie. You guys watch that. I'll go over here. I can't do that shit camping. So I'd be that to spend all my attention around them, and I wouldn't know what to do. So that's out. And my girlfriend knows a lot about the outdoors, so she probably would keep me from blithering into fucking poison ivy, because I would.
Yeah. Eating poison oak for lunch. I made a sandwich.
The fuck are you doing? You stupid ass.
The funny thing is, though,
great
Brian, I can see you going camping from like 2 p.m. until about 8 p.m.
4
and
p.m.
Then you would have that. Yeah, then you would have that look in your eye, like,
this is dumb.
yeah,
I'm not sleeping out here. Am I?
we're leaving. We're gonna go.
Switching.
We're gonna go
I
get
need
pizza.
to get on the fucking online and play a video game.
What time are we leaving to go to the hotel?
We're tired. We're just gonna go, dude. See you.
Yeah.
We're done.
Can't poop in the woods. Bugs.
Anderson,
What? No.
God, you would not go camping today. What if
I am.
What if your kid had a function and she was like, "Hey,
What?
we got to go
Bowel?
camp, father-daughter camp." That's your future. That's your future kid.
It's one hell of a camping trip.
Future kid.
That's another hell of a camping trip right there.
Would you go, or would you be like, "Daddy can't do camping"?
I'd be like, oh, so sorry, Daddy's got to go sling cheesecake.
He'd have to go fucking.
No.
He'd have to go.
I'd
participate
go.
with,
I mean, listen.
athletic
Okay,
fathers that are all ill.
Right. See, here's the thing. If it was something like that, it would be like a function where there's
Todd,
things
I saw you at the
going on.
club.
They're like, we're doing activities and we'll be doing this. That's fine. If it's like, hey, we're going to go out to an open field by the woods.
Denied.
We're going to pitch a tent and we're going to start a fire and we're going to sit there. We're going to drink. We're going to jam tunes until the batteries die.
Staring across the way at Kevin Robb the whole time. Is that what you're saying?
do
Rob
that.
is a counselor. What's up?
I would go camping. I would go camping if I could take a generator with me. And that's like the noise. That's how you would find my camp because you'd hear the constant.
Yeah, but
Yellow
constant,
freezers
hum.
there with the same
what's
food.
wrong with that? You could do your other favorite activity out there, though.
Well, right, yeah, but then what? Then just sit there. Wow, dude, that tree's like.
Play Scene It. Scene It, the
Yeah.
board game.
If you go
That's
to
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You can bring a generator. You can bring a generator and just have that constant hum that's so soothing while you sleep, anyways.
Yeah, see, that's how I would picture camping with Kevin.
A TV and a
Yeah,
PlayStation.
he's got one of those big, giant sort of mansion tents.
You don't
And
have
you just
to
hang
play
out
all-
there, and he's
Yeah,
got
he
the
has a-
generator, so you can
Yeah,
play
he would have a portable
Xbox.
nuclear generator.
No, I'm sorry. He'd have
fishing
that.
going on.
He'd have that bus with the things that come out the sides and shit.
Yeah. You guys want to stand away from the side of my truck? Why was it? Little robot waiter comes out. Hello, master. The fuck is that?
Man,
Would you
find
like
you
a
some wood.
margarita? Yeah.
Rosie comes out from the Jetsons. Hi, Mr. Bad.
That's awesome.
But the actually at state parks they have power at the campsite, so you could actually
Yeah, that
plan.
I could do. That I could do, like a cabin.
But what would you do? But what would you do? You mean just watch TV and hang out? I mean,
It's not like they got Wi-Fi out there. Right?
Actually, some of them do.
Well, you could probably find it.
Some of them do. Some of them do have Wi-Fi now.
Oh my god.
That reminds me. I didn't tell you. Oh fuck! I'll tell you later. No, that's the difference. If you're going in a tent, that's one thing because you got to sleep on the ground and shit. But if you're there's like no, you're just a fire. That's it. You know. But if you got a cabin, you got like a place where you can go in and sit on a comfortable chair.
Right.
You know,
Right.
something with a mattress.
That ain't camping.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's not camping or not.
The
I'd
whole,
go do that.
The whole reason for
I'd still
camping
go.
is you're
I'd go
glad
still
to
go
come back.
hike.
Motel. You're just saying motel. You'd motel it.
I'd go hike. I'd go do a hike and stuff like that because I know I got a place to come back to that has like running water that I can clean myself up, as opposed to going down to the creek where my brother took a big dump because he's an idiot and cleaning myself there.
All right. Okay. Defend your position.
That
damn it.
was always the fucking worst, dude. You go camping and somebody tells you to get water, Even if it was like a pump, you're like, people fucking pee around that goddamn thing at night. Because every time you go to get water, what do you smell? You smell piss. You're like, this is bullshit. I don't know if they have those porta potties, man. During the day, it's kind of okay to go in there and take a piss or whatever. But you're like, if it's nighttime, you're not pissing in that thing.
Yeah, you're worried about a spider crawling up on your junk.
Spider my ass. I'm worried about a bunch of fucking cracked out druggies in there, man. Like, or you go in there, you get in like the door where you look, there's like 6 pairs of red eyes looking back at you. Like, okay, I'll go away.
I hate when you get that splash back from the fucking.
From what, a porta potty, dude? How fucking big
they got
shit.
Damn.
How close are you?
Yeah, dude, that's fucking like dropping a lead shit. Bloosh.
Dude, yeah, you got to drop.
Talking about the little fucking urinals they got on them now, the fucking little side thing they had now.
I don't shit.
You ever seen one of those?
I'm like,
I know what you're talking about.
Larry?
I'm
not talking about the fucking hole in the ground, Fuck.
Larry, would you go camping?
As long as nobody wanted to go nude bathing with me, yeah.
Oh, Larry, come on. Just you and me.
Dude, look, it's not gay if you go bathing naked with other guys. It's just when you start touching each other's butts. That's when it may get a little crazy.
Hey, can you lather me up a little bit and back? I can't reach.
Listen, there were girls there.
It wasn't all guys.
Yeah.
There were some. There was quite a few biker chicks that their boobs are hanging down at their knees.
Can you put this ointment on my ass? I just can't reach that spot right there. I got to spread the cheek.
oil I need to take care of.
It's so hard to get the hemorrhoid cream on. Can you help me out?
No, Q-tip's no good. Use your finger. Why do I got to always have some kind of crazy accent when I'm doing somebody?
So,
but yes, I would absolutely still go.
Okay, Cease, would you go camping?
Hell no, don't want.
Are you planning a trip? Should VGN camping should happen?
No,
There you go.
I
That'll be our next location.
I still actively camp. We could all
do the prison.
We could all go, but Anderson, I don't have a motel for him, and Cease wouldn't want to go. But I've been to state parks recently, and I'll tell you what. You know what a state park is like? It is like you setting up a tent on your front lawn. Okay, because there's kids riding their bicycles by you, and there's people driving down the road right in front of your campsite all night, and there's a neighbor jamming tunes, blasting his radio.
Drunken party next to you.
Totally sucks.
I didn't fucking tell you about. Did I tell you about the camp out we had for Metallica, where they had it was like a fucking stadium, sort of not a stadium, but it was like I can't remember. It's like outside of Canton or some lake. I would say Crystal Lake, but that's not the name of it. And me, Dina, and Vicky went camping because you had to camp out, and it was the Cult opened up for Metallica. So we went there, and there's like 10,000 drunken fucking metalheads camping out. There was no sleep, none. I mean, there was like fucking security guards going around, fucking like wrapping up dudes, spraying mace on some people, and something. This is like 80s metalheads. They're not getting sprayed with mace, going crawling to the ground. They're like and fucking attacking security guards, man. They shortly after that fucking because we said they're watching, and some fucking security guards are just like trying to fucking like calm these guys down, and he sprays the dude with mace, and the guy just fucking just roared at the dude and came at him. Where I'm just like, this is gonna end badly tonight, man.
All right,
so they fucking got him. It was a good show the next morning, dude. But then fucking Dina's car broke down, and we're in Canton, and I'd never been to Canton before, and people are by the side of the road with signs that said Mopar, and they're like lining up, just like yelling, like and it's like old people, young people, and I'm like looking at Dina and Vicky because they're from Canton. I'm like, is this a cult? What the hell is Mopar? I had no idea. I was like, this is fucking crazy. What is that shit about?
All right.
Oh my god, man.
Let's move to animals.
Oh my god,
Brian, do you have any animal stories?
While camping?
Or any kind of animal stories?
I don't know about trapping.
maybe we should save that for another show.
I'm trying to think. I mean, we had the bear when we were in Yosemite. It was a baby bear running down the road. Whenever you got the fuck away from it, because there's a baby bear, there's a mama bear. I was out camping in the Adirondacks, and a fucking bear took our food, and our food was up in a bear bag, and it was like parachute cord. And that fucking thing just like, you looked up and there was no longer parachute cord. There was a new spider web and our fucking food was gone. So we had to like hike back 10 miles in one fucking day, man. 10 fucking miles in the Adirondacks is not bullshit, dude. That's fucked up. It got to the van and all they had in the back of the fucking van was warm Pepsi and dog biscuits. And we ate the dog biscuits and we drank the warm Pepsi. Sure. They're like, you don't have to eat that. We're going to get food. So we're like, We didn't care.
Dog biscuits.
Yeah, our teeth were nice and white. Got home. It was crazy, man.
Milk bone.
Anderson?
Animals?
Yeah.
What was it?
Anything. Animal stories. Anyone you want.
Okay, I was once walking my dog, Rex. I think I told this story. I don't know. I know I
Exciting
told it.
shit.
Okay, yeah, it's great stuff.
Some
It's great
guy
stuff.
killed it and threw a plastic swimming pool over it.
And so Rex was like shit. He was like a cocker spaniel poodle mix type of thing, cockapoo, and he was black with like a little bit of white on his chest. And I'm walking, and I had a flashlight with me, but like I was like, whatever. I just didn't have it on. I'm walking down the sidewalk of my street, and on my old street, I had a lot of trees in my neighborhood, so everything was always dark. You could never see anything because the street lights were blocked with trees. So we're walking along. And I turn around and I see him walking around in a yard, and I was like, all right, whatever. If he walks in somebody's yard, they can't see him shit in his yard, so that's cool. So I'm like, come on, Rex. And I see him, I see the black figure with the little white patch coming towards me. It's dark. You can barely see. I'm like, okay, here he comes. The hell, that doesn't seem. And I put the flashlight on. It's a skunk charging me. I was just like, whoa. I just like screamed. I was like, oh my God. And I just
Was it like hissing at you going, ah?
Yeah, it was like popping. It was bouncing at me. Like, I was
Happy
just, oh my
you?
God. It was insane. He was in love with me. And I just ran. And I was like, oh fuck, where's the dog at? I forgot all about the dog. I was supposed to keep the dog on a leash, but I never did.
Dog
'cause I didn't
jumps up
care.
and breaks his neck. That'd be awesome.
Nah, not this dog. This dog's too stupid. This dog would bark. Me and my brother were sitting there one night, and this dog was like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr," going crazy at the door. My brother's like, all right, let's go. So he gets up, he puts his shoes on, he takes the dog and goes out around the back of the house. They get around the corner of the house. My brother steps on a branch, he goes, crack. The dog goes, "Arr," and turns around and takes off. It's like, you ain't that tough.
That's awesome.
Larry?
Moving on. I used to have horses.
Nah, I know I'm going to get grief for this, but I can't think of any interesting animal stories.
Keep thinking.
I mean, no. I got nothing.
Our uncle had a
Not
dog.
even a turtle.
I was camping out for Kiss tickets one time. No,
You didn't battle like a raccoon in your trash or anything? Or
Dude, tell him the story you and I were just talking about. We were over Sean's, and there was a fucking shrew in his house. that's time. How could you forget that, dude? That's timeless.
Well, it's not really my story, and I mean,
It's your story. You were there.
is it really that interesting? Our buddy Sean, who had a penchant for being completely over the top in trying to show how hard he was.
Yeah.
It's good.
There was there was a shrew in his house, and we had it cornered like under the entertainment center.
Yeah.
And he went and he
Tell him
had
what
this-
kind of sort it was.
I know I'm getting there. It's getting funnier now that I'm thinking about it. He busted out his
Look at our
ancient
faces, dude. It was classic. Like, what the
ancient
fuck are you
Scottish
doing?
family heirloom sword. It was like a claymore handed down for generations.
They sold it
From
on Starship
Scottish Islands, even though it was like, the blade totally wobbled in the pommel when you would try to swing it, and it was totally like made in Taiwan last week.
Yeah, and he fucking gives us
He
crazy
breaks that
story.
out. He's flaunting it for us, and we're like, "Dude, what are you gonna do with that?" He like crouches down and just starts like stabbing under the entertainment center, and you just hear this little skittering thing. Whee! And then he's like, "I got it," and he was like all exultant and triumphant as he like drags his shrew carcass out front of us, like, yeah, and he's all like puffing up his chest and
Yeah, like he's gonna
talking
rip the
about
skin
his,
off of it and wear it.
yeah, telling us what a great friggin' Pictish
warrior
warrior
tribe
he
up.
is because he took out this shrew with this fucking.
Could you imagine like he mounts it next to like the
sword.
tiger head and his fucking, because his fucking, it's all like, well, I come from a long line of hunters or some shit like that. I imagine like there's like a bear head, a deer head, a tiger head, the fucking shrew head. That guy was so full of shit. We had the poker tournament. He told us about his uncle and grandmother was a great gambler. He had this shitty fedora, and he was the first guy that got knocked out of the tournament. Man, he's like trying to fucking contemplate suicide. He's sitting there like, let's get drunk.
He was crushed by his showing there.
Oh my god, yeah, his dreams always get crushed when we showed up. It was awesome. Oh my god, that shrew just like, and it was dead. He's like, ah! Larry and I looked at each other like, holy fuck, he killed it. I thought he was just like trying to slap it so it would just like run away. He like fucking ran it through. What fucking psychopath, man?
At least when we had a groundhog problem at my house, I busted out a rifle and was manly about it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, you don't really want to step on a groundhog.
They're pretty big.
Rip your leg off.
Fucking gnaw your fucking ankle out.
Oh fucking hell, that's hysterical.
On a related note, the Saints are in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Damn it.
Vikings didn't make it.
We'll talk about that on CSR coming up after this show.
Yeah.
C's, you got an animal story?
Yeah, when I was married, the wife was a dog lover, and she wanted another dog in the house. So we went out to APL in Cleveland. Went down there, and we were looking through all these, and we were trying to look for a puppy, and we saw this one dog that was just like a year old, and it's like really like a collie mix, you know. Really nice looking dog, all calm. All the other ones were like trying to fucking bite your face off, you know, fucking teeth coming through the fence and shit. This one was like all calm and nice looking. We're like, well, you know, it's a year old. What the heck, you know? It had one more day before they were going to chop it in half. So, what the hell, you know?
Yeah, I think that's how they euthanize it.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
They put it on a band.
They throw it out in the middle of the train tracks.
And
Yeah,
unfortunately,
exactly.
they cut them long-wise.
No, they got a great big fucking heavy weighted fucking axe, and they just like hold it on a log. You know? Right? Yeah, that'd be it. No, so I was doing the paperwork, and they got the dog out and put it on a leash, and my wife at the time was holding over in the lobby, and all of a sudden, you know, it's all quiet. You know, it's a real nice dog. You know, kind of scared a little bit. You know. So I'm doing the paperwork, and I'm in a different room, and I hear this, you know, it's fucking shit's going crazy. You know, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? It sounded like a damn dog fight out there. I go out there, this dog's fucking flying around, fucking, you know, barking like crazy because, you know, other dogs are coming in, you know. And she's giving me this, my wife was giving me this look like, oh, fuck, what did we just do, you know? Like, oh, my God, you know. So we get it in the car, and it's like all nice and stuff, and it's not freaking out. And I'm sitting in the back seat with this thing, trying to keep it calm, you know, and she's driving. And we have to, it's about a half an hour drive, you know. So about halfway, this fucking thing starts getting sick. And it fucking hurls this great big fucking pile of dog food. It looked like a brain coming out of its mouth. You know, it's right next to me. All this fucking yellow shit's like pouring into the seat crack. I'm like, God damn. I'm like, what the fuck? Hurry up, get home. Like, I'm smelling up the car, the windows, we had the windows down and shit. We're like, ugh, we're all getting sick. You know, finally get home. I clean out the car. I'm spraying it with a fucking hose because I'm like, and the seats are all cloth and shit. So that was great. You know, I'm like, I ain't touching that shit. Fuck that. Get all that shit cleaned up. And I put this runner cable up in the backyard so you can run back and forth, you know. And it was starting to, you know, it was all nervous and it started getting used to us. And we're all like playing with the dog now and it's all cute. And I'm all over the fucking, you know, puke situation. And my wife comes out with this tennis ball, and she throws it, right? And this tether line goes all the way. It's like, I don't know, about a 30-foot line, and it goes to a tree with a like a eye bolt, you know. So the tennis ball flies past the fucking tree, and the dog's running. I'm like, oh my fucking God, you know? The fucking dog. The fucking chain tightens up, and the damn thing does like a 360 all the way around the tree, about 6 feet up in the air, spinning at the same time. all its legs are straight out, and it's spinning in a fucking circle going around this tree. We're thinking it's fucking dead. You know, it had to break its neck. You know? It makes all the way around the fucking tree, lands on the ground, and just kind of sits there shaking. And it was the last time that fucker ever went after any kind of tennis ball. It would never fucking pitch anything again. I'm like, yeah, he's so much for playing with that dog, you know? It's fucking hilarious. But after that, I mean, the dog's fucking normal now, but that was the day from hell for that poor fucking animal.
I've told this story, but we were living out in California, and there was these people down the street that had dogs, and I was friends with their kid Chris, and they had a bunch of these wild dogs basically that were in part of their backyard. They were always barking and stuff like that, and there was this other kid that was over there too. And they let the Chris kid's like, I'm gonna let the dogs out and stuff, and I didn't really think that was such a good idea, and I was kind of standing back. And I was like, these dogs don't really sound like the friendly, I want to lick your face dogs and stuff. And this one, like, German Shepherd type dog comes up. I mean, I think it was just like a mixed dog, but it was pretty big. And it's like looking at the one kid. It's real serious, And I'm standing farther back. I'm by this chair and stuff. And the kid's looking at the dog. And the dog just goes, ah! And it, like, bites him right in the stomach. And the kid starts crying, and I'm like, oh fuck, because the dog's coming over by me now because it wants to know what I got, because the other kid shooed the dog away, and there's like a big pricker tree, those ones with the prickers all over it and shit, and I'm in that tree. I'm just like, fuck this, and I'm all over it. I'm getting like totally scratched up and shit, but I'm like, I ain't getting bit, fuck that. And the dog's like looking at me, but it didn't want to go through the prickers, and I'm like telling the Chris kid, I'm like, get this dog out of here, So I don't know what happened. I think the parents had to talk to their parents, and the dog got, put down or something. I'm not sure, but I eventually got the fuck out of there. I mean, as soon as that dog was like in the backyard, I just ran home, and I never went over to that kid's house again. I was deathly afraid of dogs after that point. It was
I don't blame you.
Could have went really bad. So, Brian, you got another one?
No, I'm kind of out.
Anderson?
Off the top of my head.
Horses?
Story. Horses are so boring.
Horses,
You see
come
anybody
on,
get
dude.
kicked?
Anderson, you're pretty quiet.
Oh, because I moved my microphone. Shit,
Yeah,
sorry.
Took it off.
No, I was sitting here picking my nose.
Masturbating. Tell us about the dog again.
Say that again.
Make the dog noise.
I got, it's like, I was getting chased by the dog one day. No. That was last week, or that was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
There's no wreck stories? You don't got a wreck story, dude?
That was Rex I was talking about. He was the skunk dog.
Okay.
And he was the one who was like all chicken shit.
You are in a barn, you got no animal stories? Farm and all that shit?
Dude, I mean, there's
nothing crazy went on out there?
I mean, I found bones in the pasture. Don't know what kind of bones they were, but there were bones out there. The kids were all freaking out. They're like, look, there's bones.
That was the last husband. So.
Yeah. I mean, because we just had, I've pretty much, when I was a kid, I mean, like, my parents would, like, I'd come home, and my mom would be like, look, we bought you a dog. And I'm like, awesome. And I'd be like, I'm going to call you Fred, and you're going to be my buddy. And then I come home from school the next day, and they're like, yeah, we got rid of the dog. What? Yeah, like wait, I thought
that explains a lot.
I liked Fred, and they're like, no, we got rid of him. I'm like, oh shit. And then like they get a bird.
Babies.
They got a bird for me. And then like I'd always open the cage and try to get him out, and he would just fly around and run into the windows and shit. And they're like, yeah, got rid of the bird. And
They're just fucking with you.
I mean, we had the one dog when I was a kid, Lucky, and that was the one that we'd have chase us around. And then we had Rex, and then I had that cat Phil. He was like an all white cat. Actually, I'm sorry, she was an all white cat, and she had a gray stripe down the middle of her head, right between her ears. So that was like the Pantera ears. So I called her Phil, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's a female." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like Philomena or Phil whatever. I'm like, "Nah, Philip." I'm like, her name is Philip Anselmo. Come on. So yeah, so but I mean, there was the one time I was really, really tripping on acid. Not like you can't. Well, I guess you can't, but whatever. Took some acid at work this one night, and the dude was like, "Come on over to my place." This dude was already creepy as it is, and he's all tall and stuff. He's like, "Come on over. We'll smoke some weed and we'll hang out." And I'm like, "All right, that's cool, whatever." I went over there with Mike Melville, so I was like, "Fuck it, I got Melville with me," and he's a big puss. And so we go over to this dude's apartment, and we walk in. I'm like, "You ever been over here, Mike?" He's like, "No, I never been over here." I was like, "Yeah." He's got a big python over there in that cage, or in that tank or whatever. But I fucking hate snakes. Cannot stand. I can't touch snakes. I can't stand snakes. I can't be near snakes. They just fuck me up like clowns. And And I go, "Ain't that right, Dave?" And he goes, "Well," and he looks over and he like looks a little bit. He goes, "Snake's not in here right now. He must be cruising around the apartment somewhere." And I just like froze. And I was like, "What world?" All of a sudden, your world just goes, it shrinks down to the size of like a pinhole, and you're like, "Oh my god, there's a snake on me!"
Brian, stop posting YouTube videos. God damn it! Pay attention.
It's a cool video. Fuck you. The Devil's Rain trailer.
Oh, is it?
The Devil's Rain trailer, dude.
Is that the one where it melts?
Brian, you don't want to tell the story about how you tried to strangle that cat to death with your gloves on in the house and it didn't work?
That fucking thing. I forgot about that. Yeah, we had a stupid fucking wife when I was married. She was like, she liked cats. The cats in the house could do no fucking wrong, man. I hated those sons of bitches. I used to fucking use my goddamn taser gun on them. That fucking little stun gun piece of shit I had. I'd take them if they pissed me off, and she went to work. I'd grab them, and I'd stuff them in a fucking backpack, and I'd hang them on a hook, and I'd take the fucking stun gun, and I'd electrocute them. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. I was really mad. So, why am I talking
right,
about
man?
I don't know. It's shitty. Yeah, there comes the hate.
Pete is calling in. You're done.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to admit it up. So, it was like one winter. I went to work. I was working like this. I go back. I was working like the 3 jobs and shit. So I came home. My wife at the time was like, "Yeah, it was a kitten. It was outside. It was like a blizzard outside. It was fucking freezing cold and shit." And she goes, "So I'm like thinking you didn't let it in the house." Okay, you didn't just let it in the house. She goes, "I let it in the house." I'm like, "Well, where is it?" She goes, "Well, it's under the fucking. Remember that crazy heavy piece of shit fucking china cabinet? Yeah, it was under there.
Big china cabinet."
All right, so what does this mean? She's like, "Well, we just keep it for a little while." I'm like, "No, we got 2 cats as it is. I'm not fucking, what are we, animal people? We got to have a whole house full of fucking crazy shit? No, 2 is enough." Right. Well, we're going to keep them. And, she fucking stuck to her guns like, "All right, well, okay." For those who are familiar with cartoons, you remember there's that one dog who used to have that little kitten. It was every time you come near the kitten, all you'd see is this fucking cloud and then you see claws coming out of it every so often, and you're and fucking that's what this fucking little son of a bitch was like. It wasn't a cute little kitten that you see on fucking the girls on Facebook are always putting up fucking cute pictures of kittens saying silly things and shit like that people post and stuff. No, this was a fucking wild fucking cat that didn't understand human fucking kitten relations.
It's all mangy,
dude. It was fucking hellish. Okay, it's like one of those creatures that, despite its small stature, you are afraid to touch because its eyes would be wide, its hair would be standing straight up, and it would be making crazy fucking fucking noise at you. And I'm like, Kevin and I had a discussion about because we were discussing the mice. I had you just don't want the fucker to jump at you. Because then its eye is all, just fucking taking blood from you. God knows what the fuck kind of diseases it's had. So we had to fucking move. We were moving in with my fucking brother-in-law and his girlfriend and shit to save on cash. This is, way back in the fucking day. And so we're like, well, the house, you're not allowed to have any pets. So I have me and good old fucking Bob Suhar, and we're like, we're going to take the fucking cats down to the fucking, EPA or whatever the fuck it is, that goddamn place.
APL.
I can't remember the goddamn initials. And so we had cat carriers, okay? My fucking ex-wife got one cardboard cat carrier. I was working 3 fucking jobs, okay? This is the only time where I had the time off, and she had 1 job. I had 3, okay? I had to take the cats. I had to fucking take all 3 goddamn cats, okay? So for some stupid fucking reason, I put the most sedate cat into the fucking box carrier.
Sure. Because that's easy to do. He's so easy. Just throw him back.
The other one I figured was complete. I thought the other one, the white, we have a white one, a black and white one, and then the fucking hyena. All right. So I thought that the white one was going to be really sedate. Okay. So, Jesus Christ, what a nightmare. So I had to get that fucking wild cat out from underneath the entertainment center, man. It would come out and shit every so often, and eat food. And the second it saw any form of human life, it was right back underneath there. So I'm like, how in the fuck am I going to get it out of there? So I'm like, first off, I'm going to get my fucking work gloves, man, my goddamn giant work gloves and shit, because I don't want that fucker scratching me and give me some fucking crazy goddamn disease. So I've tried thinking this is before I knew Sean, I'm thinking I don't have a sword, but maybe if I hit a couple times with a stick or something like that, okay? it'll come out from under there. It wouldn't. I'm like, crack. And he's like, I'm like, this is bullshit, man. Fuck this. So I go in the back room and I take out our fucking blowtorch.
Oh my god!
Please tell me you're building a cage. Please tell me you're building a cage. Please
this is going to be a scene from fucking Alien, dude. I am gonna. No, I wasn't aiming it at the fucking. I figured it would at least see the fire and it would run out the other side. Okay, goddamn, I'm gonna set my fucking house on fire.
And if not, then you put the flame closer to it to see if it would run then.
No, because I knew what would have happened. It would have caught on fire and ran up my face. Well, it kind of worked. Okay, and I was finally it ran out and it started trying to run around the house. I finally got my hands on it, and this thing grabbed onto my hand and was trying to bite into my gloves, and the thing had claws like a fucking jackal, man, and his teeth is just like, rah! And it's just like it was like holding on to a fucking I can't even think of anything that vibrates that goddamn hard, man. It's like it just you could not fucking keep a grip on it, and it was like, cats are fucking completely limber, and it's like trying to get out of my grip, and I'm like, I don't have a choice, man. I gotta fucking kill this goddamn thing now because it's gonna fucking get loose. And I was gonna try to break its neck. I even tried. I tried to break its neck.
It's just all wrong.
At least I didn't pick it up by its feet and start smashing its head against the table because I knew what would happen. It would be this big fucking mess, and I had to clean it up and be all gross. So I finally look at Bob, right, just standing there with this dumbfounded look on his face, like, what the hell do you want me to do? I ain't coming near it. I'm like, take the fucking Comcat out of the fucking box because this son of a bitch is going in there. Okay? Because I'm like, I can't kill it. I just couldn't break its neck. I was too fucking like, so I put it in the box. And we rapidly closed the box, and you can just hear the thing going,
God damn, what a fucking day.
It was crazy, dude.
Pliers, sticks, and now it's trying to break its neck. I'd be pissed.
Dude, it was fucking mad. So we fucking take off with the two other cats. It never occurred to me I should just put the other two cats in the fucking trunk. But no, I fucking like, well, we can ride. We can ride. With two cats put in the car to the fucking APL. And the car started moving, and the black and white cat was kind of like, well, all right. The white cat completely went batshit, man. It started running all over the fucking car, freaking out. It got underneath the fucking brake. It's like, I fucking reached down.
Hit the brakes, you just hear a squish.
I fucking reached down, I grabbed the cat, and I threw it into the fucking back. I said, Bob, kill it. Bob is just like looking at it like, what? I'm like, hold the fucker, man. I'm trying to drive. The thing's on my head. Get it off. At one point, the thing was running up my fucking face. It was in front of me, and I'm just like, fuck you. I hate you. You little son of a bitch. My wife loves you whether she loves me. Fuck you. I hate you. Fuck, I hate that thing. We got to the APL, man. I fucking opened up the door, and the fucking white cat just took off like a fucking rocket, shot it out of the fucking car, man. It was gone. Like, you know what? I ain't chasing it. Fuck it. The APL's right here. They can get it. So we go inside. We're like, okay, we have two cats. Oh, God. We have two cats. And the guy's like, okay, well, here, I'll take that one. And he took it and gave it to some other person. And then he goes to open the fucking thing with the wild cat.
Don't open that one. Just.
Dude, Bob and I both are just like, no. He's like,
I would have watched it happen.
Dude, he goes, I thought you said it was a cat. I'm like, in name only. Okay.
Devil cat.
Because we don't know what the fuck else it could possibly be, but it's completely wild. Okay. He goes,
it's a feral cat.
So it's a feral cat. Don't fuck with it. So he's like, okay. Well, he calls this cocky son of a bitch over. And all I can think of, for those who have seen Faces of Death, the park ranger that was going to fucking put the fucking noose around the fucking head of the alligator, right? We all saw how that turned out for him.
Yeah.
The same cocky attitude and shit. He's just like, what's the problem? Oh, this is a feral kitten. And he's like, well... And I thought for a second he was just going to open it right there. And I'm like, if he opens it, all four of us will be dead before we hit the floor, man. That thing will kill us all. And he goes, we're trained to handle this. It's okay. Like, it's really fucking crazy, okay? I'm telling you to be careful. He's like, yeah, we've got this. So he goes into some little room, I guess is where they handle the shit. He's soundproof, okay, because otherwise you'd go batshit listening to all that fucking noise. So he just disappears. He comes out like 3 minutes later. He's all fucking red-faced and sweaty. He looks at me and Bobby's like, holy shit. We're like, we fucking told you, man. He's like, yeah, well, Jesus, man. We're like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, oh, that's getting destroyed. He goes, where was that? Where'd you find it? Outside somewhere? Like,
It's my wife's.
my stupid fucking wife let it in the house. She didn't want to freeze it. He's like, well, you might have just saved us some fucking time and effort because that's all we're going to do with it anyway. He goes, but you want to check the house because these things have diseases. I'm thinking to myself, well, if there were diseases, they're gone now. I'd probably burn them away. But I'm not telling this guy that, man, because I'll be in jail. Fuck. Oh my God.
All right.
What a fucking nightmare that was.
All right, I think we can wrap up the show there then.
Put up forever.
That was a great end to the whole thing.
While you're on top.
2 weeks, we were going to do one on military stories, but Bill Bailey can't do the show right now because his ex-wife is getting activated to go to Haiti, and so he doesn't know when he'll be available. So we're going to wait on that one until I hear from him. So in 2 weeks, we're going to do holidays. We're going to talk about all kinds of holidays in 2 weeks on the next Midwest Wasteland. To find out more information about this show, you can go to www.videogamenews.com, and the first post on the front page tells you how to get this show, as well as all our other shows, as well as the call-in phone number, email address, etc. So definitely check it out. That's basically it. We don't have a send-off for Midwest Wasteland. If you're listening live, we're going to do sports at 11 p.m. So you guys basically have time for a D&D show if you want, whatever, etc. Otherwise, thanks for listening. Talk to you later.
Late.
See ya. Peace.
Bye.